3.5 minutes.
To the brain.
Okay. Yeah, mine is only like 45 seconds. So,
Hey everybody, tonight we are debating whether or not feminism is good for marriage, and we are starting right now with Erin's opening statement. Thanks for being with us. Erin, the floor is all yours.
Firstly, I want to thank you, James, and everybody at Modern Day Debate for having us. And thank you, David, for having me on your team. And Mahleej, sorry, I'm nervous. And Amy, thank you guys for being here as well. Has feminism been good for marriage? Observably, logically, and empirically, no. Feminism has taught women that they don't need no man and that they have no duty or obligation to serve anyone, least of all their own husband. Feminism has taught women that they better have their own career because the man could leave, start beating them, or whatever other excuse they've been brainwashed with to justify glorifying themselves as a married girl boss and therefore not prioritizing their family. But the truth is, if a husband did that 100 years ago, he would be criminally prosecuted, socially ostracized, and the family would take care of the wife. Men were actually held more accountable before feminism than they are now. Feminism teaches that motherhood is oppression, i.e., I don't want to be just a baby factory. When motherhood is the thing that makes women uniquely needed by society, cherished, and ultimately fulfilled. Prioritizing ourselves, rebuking the very idea of duty to others, and throwing women out into the workforce to compete with men devalues wifehood and motherhood. It is highly destructive to a union that is the cornerstone of the nuclear family and based in the biological and spiritual truth that men and women were made by God to be complementary. Instead of recognizing this fact, feminists insist that men are predators. They engage in open misandry without shame or consequence. Modern day wives, even so-called tradcons, participate in berating and emasculating their husbands. Women in this gynocentric society will leave their husbands because they aren't happy, convincing themselves that somehow the children will be better off without their father at home. People 100 years ago knew better than this because it's common sense. We don't have to rely on common sense now, and thank goodness, because feminists don't seem to have it. We have the statistics to show that you hurt your children when you throw their father away. Marriage is such a disaster due to feminism that men are walking away from the institution of marriage altogether. They'd rather not lose half of their money and their own children. Feminism is female selfishness in all its glory. The Garden of Eden was perfect, but it wasn't enough for Eve. She was tempted by Satan to have more and be like God. The modern woman, aka feminist, is no different. She believes, do as thou wilt, and cares not about anyone she hurts in the process, including her own husband and children. All right, David, now it's up to you.
all right. Can you guys hear me good?
Yeah.
Cool. So, I have 3 arguments for this. So, in regards to feminism and is it good for marriage and society, I would say that, well, it isn't good. Feminism is the idea that women are equal to men, for egalitarian. It's the movement towards egalitarian. And that's just a lie within itself. Argument one, feminism is a lie because women have to appeal to men to enforce their rights. Very simple. Men cannot appeal to women to enforce their rights. So therefore, it's never equal. So argument one. Argument two is we are below population replacement level due to the indoctrination of feminism, women prioritizing their education and career over family and children. So they're either opting out of having kids or they're pushing the age that they're having kids to their 30s. So they're producing less kids. Currently, we are at 1.6 babies per women, but it's supposed to be at around 2.6 to 2.7 babies per woman for us to sustain our current population level. Argument number three, no fault divorce increases the rate of divorce significantly. So and this was due to the movement of feminism. So how can feminism be good for marriage if uh, no fault divorce was influenced via feminism, which then it increased the rate of divorce. So it increased the rate of women divorcing their husband. So then we also have, with the indoctrination of feminism and the movement towards feminism, we see that women are choosing to abort their children, over 1 million abortions per year. So if we just look at the outcomes of the movement towards feminism, the ideology, the indoctrination, we would have to say that it's bad for marriage, also bad for society, and I'll yield.
Thank you very much for that opening. We're going to kick it over to the feminist side. Thrilled to have you here as well. Mahleej and Amy, the floor is all yours. Let me check if you're muted, Mahleej.
Okay, there we go. So hi, everybody. Thank you so much, James, for having me again. So my whole argument is feminism harming marriage. I don't think so. So marriage is one of the oldest social institution in human history because it is so important. Any discussion about whether feminism has harmed marriage must begin with honesty, nuance, and evidence, not assumptions or stereotypes. So my position today is clear. Feminism has not harmed marriage. Instead, feminism has transformed marriage into a more equal, voluntary, and healthier institution for both partners. So first, we must define feminism correctly. Feminism is not hatred of men, rejection of family, or opposition to marriage. At its core, feminism is the belief in social, legal, and economic equality between genders. Criticizing extreme or misused version of feminism does not justify blaming the entire movement for changes in marriage. Before feminism, many marriages were not entered freely. Women did not really have the right to choose. Women often lacked access to education, employment, or legal protection. As a result, many stayed in marriages not because they were healthy or fulfilling, but because they had no realistic alternatives. That kind of stability was based on dependence, not commitment. Feminism changed this. It allowed marriages to become more of a choice. Research published in the Journal of Marriage and Family shows that marriages entered voluntarily tend to have higher emotional investment and satisfaction. When people choose marriage freely, they value it more, not less. Another common claim is that feminism caused rising divorce rates. This argument confuses visibility and causation. Divorce rates increase because people gain the freedom to leave abusive, neglectful, or deeply unhappy marriages. According to the CDC and multiple sociological studies, domestic violence rates declined as women gained legal and financial independence. Ending harmful marriages is not evidence that marriage is failing, it is evidence that people are protected. Feminism has also improved the quality of marriage. Studies from Pew Research Center shows that couples who share decision-making and household responsibilities report higher satisfaction and lower conflict. Equality does not weaken marriage, it strengthens it. Critics often claim children suffer because feminism weakens marriages. However, the American Psychological Association has consistently found that children are harmed more by high conflict households than by changes in family structures. What children need most is stability, emotional safety, and responsible caregiving, not parents staying together at all costs. It is also important to note that feminism benefits men. Egalitarian marriages allow men to express emotions, participate in parenting, and avoid the pressure of being the sole provider. A Harvard study found that men in more equal marriages report better mental health and life satisfaction. Finally, the decline in marriage rates cannot be blamed on feminism alone. Institutions like the Brooklyn Institution identify economic instability, rising cost of living, and student debt as major contribution. Blaming feminism oversimplifies a complex social issue. In conclusion, feminism has not destroyed marriage, it has removed inequality, reduced harm, and made marriage a partnership based on respect rather than dependence. A marriage built on equality, choice, and mutual commitment is not weaker, it is stronger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll kick it over to Amy.
Thank you, James, and everyone here. Is feminism good or bad for marriage? Good, or put in a claim, yes, feminism is good for marriage. Males and females may not be biologically the same, but in a relationship, we should want to feel like we are equals. And equal doesn't mean that we both have to do the same thing. No matter the sex or the gender, if one of us likes working and the other likes staying home to raise kids, then we both value what each other is doing as equal merit to the family. The same is true if both adults desire to work full time. However, the key component is that we have both made conscious decisions on how we will spend our lives together. Thus, what exactly is feminism anyway? Feminism is the advocacy of women's rights based on equality of the sexes. I would add, with an emphasis on the legality and access to rights or work. Historically, that has meant fighting for things like a woman's access to the vote and equal pay. But I would also argue that although feminism has feminine as a root word, we are ultimately talking about egalitarianism. That is to say, men and women are being treated equally, in this case, within a relationship. Sometimes feminists get criticized by those who say we focus so hard on our goal of fairness that we miss the tragedies going on with men. They say, hey, take a look at how unfair divorce court is, or which sex do you think they end up sending to war? These are legitimate concerns worth looking at. However, I assert they would be better cared for in a more empathetic, egalitarian society, one in which we treat divorce as gender-neutral scenarios and don't send men to die needlessly in war. Because we should treat everyone as having value under the eyes of the law, no matter what their sex or gender is. Marriage is a legal contract for some and a spiritual, religious, or personal one for others. Thus, when I claim, yes, feminism is good for marriage, I'm speaking about how we decide to treat each other as two parts of a whole. Relationships require mutual trust, respect, and admiration, which is difficult to have if we look down on each other condescendingly as if we are above them. Thus, if one person is better at cooking and one is better at doing the dishes, doesn't matter what's between someone's legs, as long as both people go to bed with a full tummy and clean dishes for the next day. We use labels sometimes like traditional and modern, but in truth, we are all a mix of both. Sometimes men like to decorate the house, and sometimes women like to change the car oil. Or vice versa. Doesn't matter. As long as everyone's happy, and again, the house looks great and the car runs well. In conclusion, marriage is a wonderful tradition. I believe in marriage and see it as a way for two people to come together and become a more complete whole. Marriages are central to how we build families, and families are the building blocks of society. We also need many different blocks with many people of many kinds to make that society function. When we maintain an egalitarian approach to relationships, we adopt a more empathetic stance in marriage. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that opening. We're going to kick it into the open dialogue. Following that, we'll have the Q&A with the audience. So if you happen to have questions, folks, you can tag me in the live chat with @moderndaydebate. Otherwise, Super Chat pushes your question to the top of the list for the Q&A. With that, we're going to jump into the open dialogue. The floor is all yours, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Amy. So you said something there. You said that feminism is basically saying that people should feel equal. Do I have that right? Because you basically said, like, well, we're all different. We're not truly equal, but it's all about people feeling equal. Is that what you said? I just want to make sure I had that right.
I did indeed say that. I think that feelings are important brain states that we sometimes don't treat well within conversation, and yet feelings are the bedstone of which we produce culture. So to answer your answer, yes.
Can feelings be measured?
Feelings aren't that great at being measured. We don't have really great ways of measuring brain states yet.
So do you feel like a real woman?
I do feel like a real woman.
And how do you know what a real woman feels like if you don't share the same biology as a real woman?
Sure, because gender isn't about biology. It's a sociological, psychological, anthropological phenomena that we explain. It's why you say, oh, be a man, but you don't say be a male. Does that make sense?
Do you think that a lot of our feelings would come from our biological differences? Like men are higher in testosterone, about 17 times higher in testosterone. Women, they're higher in estrogen, higher in trait neuroticism, which means that they actually feel, on average, more negative emotions than a man. So these are all biological differences, which can contribute to how we feel. So if you have a XY chromosome, the woman has an XX chromosome, there's clear biological distinctions between men and women, which will contribute to how we feel. Now, I know how we feel is going to be based off experiences and everything too, like the external, that does play a lot. But what I'm going to is the internal. The internal plays a big part. So you don't share nothing. Nothing is similar with the internal of the woman, right? So
that is a
which
claim.
is
Do
why
I
I'm
get to
asking
respond to
you.
that?
Sure. You can respond to that. What biological?
I can give you a chance to respond, Amy, but one thing I do have to redirect us toward is just to big picture wise relate it back to the original topic.
I'm going to make a point. I got you. Yeah, I'm going to make a point about marriage.
Okay, and so just one more example, and because we did bring up Garden of Eden and things like that. So the reason that you call your God a father and a man and all these stuff is because of gender, because your God doesn't actually have an XY chromosome. He wouldn't fit your definition of a father, he wouldn't meet your definition of a man, and so what we use instead are these labels. Gender is a social phenomena. So out of respect, I call your God a man. Out of respect, I acknowledge that you believe he's a father. I don't, literally think those are true, but I think as Christians, you have the right to believe that. And I don't think that outside of a debate circle, I should make fun of you, even though those don't, to me make biological sense. But I understand socially why you believe them. But I would also say, feelings are important. We're not going to be able to, understand what another person is exactly feeling. And so when we are talking about things like gender, you are going to actually have to ask people.
Yeah, so that didn't answer my question. Everything that you just said totally didn't answer my question. You just evaded my question. My
I do need
question
you to.
was,
I need you to clarify for the audience, though, because
Yeah.
they're like, "Wasn't this on feminism being good or bad for marriage?"
I got you. I got you, man.
It's getting
Yeah, I
into
got
a
you.
That
gender
is
debate.
true.
No, I got you. It's right. It's right here. It's very simple. Very
Okay.
simple to understand. So your argument was, Amy, your argument was very simple. You said that, well, you think that feminism is good for marriages
Mhm.
because one of the entailments of your argument is because it makes people feel equal. Feminism is for the movement towards egalitarian, like equal rights.
Can I ask you a
to get
question on
to,
that?
real quick. I'll
Okay.
let you speak. Let
I
me just
agree.
get to the point. Feminism is to dismantle gender roles for men and women to basically be equal. But like you said, we're really never equal, but we want to feel equal. So based off your argument of feeling equal, you are, making arguments for feminism to be equal, to have equal rights to, you're a man, to have equal rights to women, but that isn't even true within your own feelings because you don't even know how a biological woman feels because you are not a biological woman. Makes sense?
Sounds like one.
Not
Amy
not
sounded like
entirely.
one
I'm
with all
not
these
sure how
feelings.
that makes sense. But what I
Can,
would
can, can I just, sorry,
sure.
she doesn't have to feel it that way. You know, there's something called an observation. Other people can also observe and see how women were treated in the past. All we're asking is for women not only just to be equally, we're asking to be treated as human beings because we never were given a choice. We were never given a choice to leave who we
Yeah.
married. If we want to leave the marriage, even if it was abusive, we were never given that choice. That's the only thing we have asked, especially coming from people that follow religions, right? Where men are the dominant one. We have to serve. The fact that I have to serve my husband because I'm some kind of maid or
It's not
a
have
slave
to, it's
that I
want
have been
to.
bought. Hang
It's
on, let me
want
complete
to.
that. When you talk to people that are religious, they will put you in that box that I am not. How dare I'm equal to a man as a human being? I always have to be on a lower level and man has to be here. And above that is God. First, I have to serve the God. Then I have to serve the man because he's in my life. And then it is me at the bottom. All we're asking for is equality. We know that physically we're not equal. In certain ways, we think is different. But all we're asking is for equal rights to choose on our body, on our financial decisions, how many kids we want to have. And if you're not in a happy relationship, a marriage, choice to leave that marriage, right? That's all we're asking for. Nobody's asking for like everything equal. When you think about equality, I don't know what you guys think. We're asking for basic human rights, and men have a problem with it.
And can
Yeah. So
I
one,
ask you a date?
you wanna
Respond. That's well, I just have a question after. I know you want to respond to her.
sure.
I'll wait.
Yeah.
I have it written
Well,
down.
I'm going to be responding to you. She just, she made a point, but I'll refute that in a second. But basically, the argument is very simple, Amy. Your argument is, once again, I'm going to repeat it back slowly so you and everyone on the panel can understand in the audience because it's not that hard.
Fantastic.
You said feminism is good. Feminism is good. The good is because you want people to feel equal, right? Well, one, you acknowledge that, well, people aren't equal. Got it. But you want them to feel equal. Well, a man will never feel equal to a woman because a man isn't a woman. You portray yourself as a woman, but you don't feel like a woman. You can say you feel like a woman. That's
It's like
subjective.
something's on your mind.
That isn't true at all, right? You share your ontology is different than a woman. You don't have the same nature as a biological woman. Therefore,
I
your
disagree.
argument for feminism to feel equal, you yourself, you can never meet that true feeling. So
David,
you're living
can
in
I
a
ask you
delusion
two
land. You can
questions?
never meet the true feeling of
Two
feeling
questions.
like you're a
Sure.
woman.
That's fine. Number one, is the ontology of your God to be a father?
The ontology of my God to be a father. Well, one, the nature of God, the question itself is not right? The nature of God is much different. The nature of God doesn't have the same ontology as a man on earth.
But
God
he's
shares
still
a
male.
different
He's still
ontology.
he, right? He's still
God shares a
he.
different ontology.
So
God is the creator, which he is the father, but it is
Oh,
a different
look
ontology
at that.
than the ontology that we
Wow.
have.
He's
Yes.
so postmodern. That's what I like about you and God, is it doesn't have an XY, but he can be a father. Why can it be father? David feels like it. The book feels like
This
it. Their
argument doesn't
feelings.
make any sense.
No,
It
but he's got to
doesn't?
mock it because that's all he has. Sorry,
Yeah, the argument. Yeah,
That's
the argument.
okay. Pronouns
The argument
or
doesn't make any
whatever.
sense
Yes, I
because
do have to
God doesn't
mock it.
have the
It
same
doesn't make
ontology
sense.
as human beings. So your argument is nonsensical because God is not bound by time, space, or matter. He is
Right.
divine. He is omniscient.
So maybe God's a
So
woman.
you don't
I
know
do
what you're
want to-
speaking
Kind
about.
of makes more sense with creation.
I do want to jump
No,
in here.
it doesn't.
That isn't an argument.
We haven't heard a lot from
Kinda
Erin. I do want to
does.
give Erin a shot. Go ahead, Erin.
By all means.
Well, first of all, you're making a good case of why feminism is so bad for marriage and so bad for pretty much everything, because it's all about feelings. It's all about feelings. And Mahleej said something about if I don't feel happy in a marriage, guess what? It's not about how we feel. Life is not about that. You can't just
In
go
marriage.
off of your whims. You can't just throw your whole family away and who cares about the
So
kids
I'm getting
if
beaten
not
up every
happy?
day by my husband, and that's okay. I should just put up with it because I
Yes.
feel hurt. I should just put up with
Yes.
it. If my husband
Walk
is
it
beating me
off.
up
Your
every
job
day,
is to make yourself happy.
seriously?
It's not his
No,
job to
you
make you
think
happy.
physical abuse on any human being is okay?
Where do you have a police report?
Do you beat your kids up? Can you beat your kids up these days?
That's a straw man. Of course
No,
not.
I'm just
Of course,
asking
no
you.
one should
Just
beat anybody
physical
up.
assault to anybody. You're okay with my man because he's my husband and I'm his slave. He can beat me up and I should put up with it. God
Did I
forbid.
say that?
Yes, you just did. You
Did
just
I
did.
say that? I don't think I did, and I think the audience knows I didn't. I said, "Do you have a police
Just did.
report?" And you went off on this whole thing. Because
No.
did
You asked me if I have a police report. When I asked you, it's okay for a man to be beaten because you said it's about feelings. Well, I feel very hurt because my husband's feeling, hitting me every day. And I asked you, should I
Okay.
leave it or should I be there? And you said, yeah, you should just get beat up. You just said that. Yes.
I did not say you should get beat up. You said if I'm not happy, then I should take it. I should just stay. And I said yes. And then you went into this whole thing. Oh, I'm abused.
So that
which
means
women
that if I'm
always
getting
do.
beat up,
Do you know
I'm
how
not
many men get
happy, I should
falsely
stay.
accused? How do I know you're not
If
one of
I'm
those
getting
false
beat up
accusers?
and I'm not happy, I should stay.
You should stay. If all it is I'm not happy, then yes, you should stay.
Well,
I
you
didn't say
cannot
anything about
define my
abuse.
happiness. You can't. What if he's beating me up? What if he's not beating me up but calling me all kinds of names? Mental abuse every single day. How are you going to judge that my
Define
happiness
mental
and
abuse.
leaving is not
Define mental
justified?
abuse. Define mental abuse. Did you never
Mental
call him a
abuse
name?
is calling you names every day, putting you down every day. Have you ever been with psychopaths? They will put you down. They will destroy your self-esteem. Like, you don't understand. The mental trauma is worse than the physical trauma, actually.
Don't tell me what I understand. I'm asking you, what is the definition of mental abuse? And did you ever call him a name? Did you not? Were you a perfect angel and you never called him a name and you were
Why are we
sweet all
going
the time?
personal with me? We're talking in general. I don't know why
Because
you're
you
talking
made it
to me
about you.
personal.
You started talking about your husband.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying anything to him, and he's abusing me every day, calling me
You
names every
just
day.
started
Why did it
talking about
become
your husband. That's
me?
why I was. That's the only
No,
reason
why
I did
it
is because
becoming
you
about
did.
me?
You go to personal. You always make it about yourself and your personal and that's you don't speak about the macro. But I'm
gave you an
willing to speak about the
example.
macro. I'm
I
not
gave you
really
an
interested in your
example
personal
when you
life.
said you feel. I gave you an example. If a woman, that's what I said. If a woman that
Oh,
is
that's what
getting
you said.
beaten, I did not say me, I was getting beaten. I never said that. I said if a woman is getting beaten or getting mentally abused, you should, yes, she should stay with it.
Yeah, but how do you measure mental abuse?
Thank you. Right.
It's
Mental
subjective. How
abuse
can
is
you measure
worse.
something that's
Mental
useful?
abuse is
So
worse.
let's say, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a quick
Somebody
example.
calling
So
me a
look, real
whore
quick.
every day.
Yeah, I'll give you an
Listen to me.
example.
Somebody calling me a whore every day is
Were
going
you
to
being
do
a
a lot of
whore?
damage to my
Were you being a
brain.
whore?
Depends, depends who you ask. If you ask religious people,
Maybe you were being a whore.
For some of them, you're being a whore, being and showing your face here, right? So it
It's
depends
true.
who you're asking.
That's true. But I'm not
Okay.
talking about Pakistani men. I'm talking about men in the West.
Oh, I'm just talking about men in general. I didn't know that this was Pakistani specific.
Well, you said showing my
stream.
face, and Western men, Christian
No,
men.
I
have
didn't
no
say showing
problem
your
with my
face. I said just you being you. Some people will consider you coming here on this platform being a whore. Some people.
Okay, well, let's bring it down to a teeny tiny little example so that we can make our point. Or we could talk about, most people and most men are not going to look at me that way.
So let me just clear this out for you. And I'm making an example. I'm talking in general. I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about me. When I made that example about some people would call you a whore when you said that, whatever he said. So because you're showing up here using feminism to be here, the platform, because if there was no feminism, you probably wouldn't have a voice because the men wouldn't allow you. So,
But that's
what I'm
moving
talking
the
about.
argument. It's not about what people are calling you. It's about what you said. Your argument is mental abuse. So someone can say words to you, but how can you measure that those words hurt someone's feelings? You can't
Right.
measure that because you can
There have
call
been
me all
studies
real
on
quick.
that.
Listen, what I'm saying is the argument is very simple. Your argument is nonsensical. You actually said that mental abuse in certain instances is worse than physical abuse. Well, we can measure physical abuse. If I punch you, you get a black eye, it hurts. Slap the hand, you have a feeling, right? But when it comes to mental abuse, you can call me all the words or you can call someone else all the words. But if they aren't susceptible to what you're calling them, then they're Teflon. It's not going to affect them, right? So when you're talking about mental abuse, you're just throwing like slop on the wall and nothing is sticking because you can't prove or measure mental abuse.
Right.
Of course you can. In a lot of cases you can. It's like a kid going and getting bullied at school, being called
Okay,
fat
let's try
every
it.
single day.
Let's demonstrate it. Let's try it here.
That is going to have long-term trauma on the
We
whole
can demonstrate it here.
mental abuse, like I said, is worse than physical abuse because every day being told something and treating you like crap is going to have a long time impact on you. Okay, toxic relationships, they have a long-term impact on you. So you're saying that it can't be measured, but you can see it on people's, there's different characteristics that shows you that that person is going through mental abuse. I mean, I don't understand that you're saying it doesn't stick.
So like if somebody calls me a name and then I have a giant tantrum, that's the measurement, is my tantrum? Is that what you're saying? My reaction is the measurement?
And have been bullied online. There has been cases where they have committed suicide because they were just being called names, like you said.
I understand, and that's a whole different thing.
There's cases, recorded cases
families,
of being mentally abused where you're getting bullied online and people will go and take their lives.
yeah, people are soft nowadays because we don't have fathers that are in charge and saying, look, that doesn't matter. You are who you are. You are made in the image of God. This is who you are. These people don't matter. These people don't matter who are calling you names and stuff. You can laugh at me all you want. That's not an argument. But people are soft nowadays. And if you don't get that, I don't know what you're
looking at. People are soft nowadays.
Bullying stuff. This whole bullying, like, oh my God, bullying.
If I could bring it back,
we should be okay with being bullied.
To an earlier point, I would say it's the opposite. We're not feeling. We are not being empathetic enough. And I think if we went and tried to understand each other's feelings more, we would have less of the, I would say the, dare I say this word, toxic masculinity that we are sometimes experiencing. What I would ask, I have two questions. Erin, you said, well, is she being a whore? I have a question for you, a hypothetical. Say you did have a husband and every day you came home and all he did, not in a joking way, but he just kept calling you a whore and he just kept saying it over and over, and you are the most faithful partner that you could be. I dare ask, I say this, how would that make you feel?
Well, first I would think before I felt. And I would think, why is he doing this? Because we would have had a conversation before the marriage as what is a whore and what's acceptable and what's not.
And yet he's still calling you a whore.
I'm getting there. And if I'm dressing or behaving in a certain way, then we can have a conversation about it. And you said being empathetic. I would first go to him and say, what's wrong? This is not you. I would be empathetic to him.
That is what empathy is.
I know that. I know what empathy is. I'm just saying, you're like, who's going to call you a whore? And you want me to think about my feelings. Thing is, I would think about his feelings and I'd be curious as to why he's doing that. And I would wonder if he's going through something or what's going on. I wouldn't automatically, oh my God, because that's just not something that happens where it's like, oh, he just comes home and calls you a whore. And you want to tell me, oh, you're just going to come home and beat your wife. Men don't do that. In general, men don't do that. That's not how they behave. That is a feminist trope that men just come home and want to be cruel to their wives. The women in the West are the most privileged women who have ever walked the face of the earth. And you know why? Because of our men.
I would say it's because of the shoulders of giants, both men and women. But we went right to like physical abuse. But I mean, you had a right approach. I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't have to be, I care about your feelings, his feelings. I like to think in empathy, you're putting yourself in someone else's shoes. So, in trying to figure out what's going on, I think that it would then go many different ways. Maybe you would have that conversation and you'd figure it out, and he'd say, "I'm just having a bad day and I've been calling you a whore." I think the example we would be going to is what happens when you've had those conversations. What happens when you go, "You have breached our initial contract. You know, you said we had a definition of what it is, and yet I'm being faithful to you." I guess my question to you is, at what level can you divorce? Because to me, it's not about putting women on top of men or trying to make it a battle. I really just want to address whether it's men or women. If a man is coming home and the woman is calling him a bitch, and yet he's doing in his eyes everything he can do to be a man, I feel like both situations, you and that man, would at least eventually get to a place where let's remove ourselves from the situation. It's not healthy anymore.
Right? It's not healthy. And you asked about divorce. Well, the two reasons are adultery and physical abuse. You can divorce. However, that doesn't mean, oh, I'm divorced now, I'm out on the scene, I'm going to sleep with a bunch of guys and stuff. You divorce, that means you go your own way and you don't, you're done. Like
But
that's,
men can do that, right? But men can do that. They can divorce and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and sleep with
Did
tons
I
of
say
girls,"
that?
and then they're called. Are they okay?
Did
Is
I
it okay
say
for
that?
men to do
No.
that?
Did I say this was just women? No. Nice
Okay,
try.
okay,
No.
okay.
If someone divorces, that is what you do. You say, okay, this isn't working out, so we must separate because you are adulterer or you are physically abusive or whatever. So you go your own way and you live your life chaste the rest of your
Yeah,
life.
and also, men aren't the ones that's initiating most divorces. It's women that's initiating
There you go.
most divorces. At a rate of around 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. But Amy, you were asking a question. You asked Erin a question in regards to how she would feel if her husband kept calling her a whore. Let me ask you a question. How would you feel if other women, like real women, got offended by you dressing like a woman and acting like a woman, meaning that you hurt their feelings?
Sure.
Would you
Well,
stop dressing? Would you stop dressing and acting like a woman
Oh, that's a
because
good
you're
one.
no,
hurting their
I would
feelings?
not. I would not stop dressing as I want to feel and express myself, but I
Oh,
would want to know
okay.
more. I
Oh,
would
okay.
have
So wait,
to
let's
ask
flip it. So
them why they felt this way,
should
and
the husband stop calling the wife a whore? I'm just,
if
what
That's
should
a
she
happen
big,
there?
doesn't,
What's the
well,
argument? We're talking about in a marriage, in a relationship. What a stranger feels about Amy is totally different.
Stop
That's
it.
not
We're
even the
speaking about
argument
feelings
here.
itself.
You're just no, you're just
I'm having an
feelings.
argument
you
about
keep
feelings
moving the
to see if
goalposts.
she's
We're talking about
consistent.
marriage and
I'm not
feminism.
moving the goalpost.
Yes, you are.
sure.
You have to listen. You have bad active listening
Feelings
skills.
in a
She made
relationship
an
and
argument
feelings of
about
some
feelings.
individual is different.
I'm asking her questions to see if she's consistent based on her argument. Her argument simply was, I'll repeat it back to you since you don't know how to listen. I'm not sure what's wrong with you, what's going on in Canada, but what's going on with your ears? She asked Erin a question based off of feelings. Hey, well, if you had a husband and your husband kept calling you a whore, she was trying to demonstrate mental abuse, right? But she's basically saying that, well, she would be offended by her. She's trying to get out of Erin to say, well, yeah, I would be offended by that. I asked Amy the question to see if she's consistent on her feelings question. So if her dressing like a woman, he dressing like a woman, actually, and acting like a woman, if it offended real women, would she stop? Will she be empathetic because The argument was about empathy and feelings. But guess what? It's only empathy and feelings to the things that you guys want because
Right.
it's all subjective. This is why
Right.
I'm saying that you can't measure feelings. Give us something that's more objective.
May
But you
I?
can't do that. So let's just go to outcomes. I gave
Um,
many arguments to outcomes. So maybe we can speak about that. But Amy, I'll let you reply.
Yes. And so, no, I would not change my clothing expression because that's an internal expression. I can't change it. I could hide who I was or try and regress or try to wear clothing and things that I don't like but I think are culturally appropriate, but I can't change who I am on the inside. What I
So-
can do is ask them why they're feeling this way. Is there some sort of underlying thing? Like when we're dealing with bathrooms, locker rooms, these sort of women's spaces, it tends to be a fear, a concern of possibly either being spied on in some perverted manner or being harmed in some sort of physical manner. I think I can alleviate those fears because transgender women have never been per capita a threat to biological women. No offense to straight heterosexual men who I love. They tend to be the ones that tend to be abusive towards those groups. That doesn't mean we should judge straight heterosexual men. I'm sure there's reasons for that we could find underlying underpinnings of.
Well,
But
that's
what I
funny
would say
because
is
in lesbian couples
Mhm.
and lesbian couples, they actually have higher rates. They show higher rates than heterosexual couples for domestic violence.
Mhm.
This is a statistical fact. So lesbian couples, they have a higher rate of domestic violence than
Right.
heterosexual couples. So if what
So-
you're saying is true, then the stats would show it, but it doesn't.
I would love to see abuse, things like rapists, physical abuse in bathrooms, spying, those type of things, having an overwhelming lesbian majority.
Well, do you go
Those
into women's
abuses-
bathrooms?
I'm a woman, so of course I do.
No, you're not. You're a man dressing like a woman, but they
That is
could
your
feel
claim.
abused. They can feel hurt. So if you're
Sure, but they're
if
not
you're so
actually
worried
at
about women,
danger. That's the
He
listen,
doesn't
difference.
care about empathy.
If
He's
you're-
demonstrated he doesn't care about empathy, like you said, David, unless it's the way he wants it to go. And that's exactly you are acting
That
like
is
a woman. That's really
can I
good.
ask? Thank you. That's a good joke at the end, but that is a straw man. If biological women were actually put into danger, there would be a concern. But
Oh,
the
it's only
danger
danger.
has to be real. Well, that is, what do you care about bathrooms and locker rooms? I mean, not to go too far out, but if I were to ask you about, locker rooms and the president, you might have a different feeling. But transgender women are generally,
I
they're
don't
the real
care.
threat about,
I don't
oh,
care about the
okay.
president.
Well, I mean,
But look, you're
talking
making it
about
into
men
locker
going
rooms and
into
whatever. This is
pageants.
not about the
Yeah.
trans thing. This is about
I
empathy.
agree, but it keeps
This
on
is about
going there
empathy
somehow.
and which direction it goes. And the fact that
Sure.
you're revealing it's only on your terms. Empathy
Can
on
you
your
give me an
terms.
example?
we did.
Yeah.
We just gave you a few
Or your-
examples. It's based.
Yeah,
If
but I mean like a
you
real
walk into
example,
women's,
not
that is a real
imaginary in your
example.
brain.
Oh, okay, I can.
Oh, it's not imaginary. I'll let you go, Erin. Go ahead.
Maybe I don't want, say, my kids to see it. Maybe I don't want
Your
them to be
kids to see
confused.
what?
Maybe it'll scare them. And maybe
Scare-
that
what will
offends
scare
me.
them?
Pardon? You.
What will scare
You
them?
moved
A-
so
a
far away
trans
from the
woman,
original
whatever.
debate. You
I'm
moved
just
so
saying,
far
what
from
if?
it.
I
I'm saying, what
appreciate
if?
that, but what if
Hypothetical.
my kids get fearful by like a priest or a pastor, and they're like, "Oh my God, I saw him on the news."
Well, you see, we're not
Like,
making
no,
your
they're not
argument where
all like
feelings
that.
are more important.
That's
We're
not
not
our
making
argument.
that
That's
argument.
your argument. You're actually
Yeah. It is
proving
my
our
argument.
argument for
Yeah,
us.
you are proving
Your
our argument.
argument is very subjective. It's based off of feelings and emotions and
Right.
empathy.
Yeah, we're talking
but
about
you're only
relationships and
but you're
marriage.
only
Feelings
Yes.
are the name of the
yes.
game.
Yeah, we are.
What are you
We
talking about? Marriage is a
that.
duty. Marriage is a duty. It's not necessarily based off
Lord.
of feelings. Marriage
Right.
is
Duty
a
only
duty.
for religious people, it's a duty. Just clear
Well,
that
that's
up.
the
It should
only
also be a
context marriage
joy
exists.
It's a
and
duty.
it should be a companionship. It should be a partnership. I mean, there's many things to marriage. The
Of
ups and
course
the
there is,
downs.
because you guys
And then
have
they ask
co-opted
why there's
something.
divorces being happening. Like
Humans.
you said, this is why the divorces are happening, because you're making it as a duty, as a chore. You have to do it. Back in the
It is
days, we didn't
not
have a
why
choice.
divorces are
No,
you
happening.
divorces
have
are
the right
happening because you
to
make it all
put a
about your
divorce.
feelings.
Back in the
Mahaj,
days,
divorces
we
are
couldn't
happening because you're
divorce. We
making it
didn't have
all about your
rights. Now we have
feelings.
rights. We
That's
can
why
Okay, I
divorce.
hate
divorces
to
are
That's
interrupt.
why
happening.
there's more
Just because
divorces happening from women's side, of
if there's
course.
if there's too much if there's too much
very
interrupting,
incorrect.
then nobody can hear either of you. I just want to be sure I jump in really quick.
Well, I was answering him, and then he keeps over talking me. So
We were actually speaking at the same time. But what I'm saying is, you just said that, well, that's why marriages are ending in divorce because, it's duties. No, marriages are ending in divorce because people that share your ideology and have been indoctrinated by feminism, they're all about the feels, man. If it doesn't feel good, I don't want to stay in this relationship. So therefore, they'll prioritize their happiness over their duty, which is a family and children.
Duty is a feeling. I don't know why you're acting like you guys are some cold,
Duty is an act.
stateless
What are you speaking
beings.
about? How is
when,
duty a
when
feeling?
wanting
you
to
talk
do
about
your
those
duty?
feelings,
How is duty a
Explain
feeling? Go
to
ahead.
me duty.
And
What does
not an
duty
act.
mean? Explain duty.
Yeah,
Duty
and
is
then to also
I'll
explain these
let me
feelings that we have that we're like, oh, today I just don't feel good. I'm just gonna get a
Sure,
divorce.
I'll explain both for
Where do
you.
you draw that line? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'll explain both for you. So duty is acting despite how you feel. You may want to feel like you doing your duty, but like if you're working a 9 to 5, do you think that people feel like going to work? Most human beings are lazy. They don't really feel like clocking in, but they do their duty despite how they feel.
Mhm.
Bodybuilders and people that work out. Do you think that people really truly feel like working out 5 to 6 days a week? No, but they work out despite how they feel. When you're in a relationship, a marriage, and you love someone, they may make you feel angry at times. They may make you feel sad and hurt, but you still act despite how you feel when you love them and you treat them with respect and dignity and you work out the differences. The thing is, your ideology promotes feelings, so it's all subjective. If I don't feel like it today, then I'm not going to do my duty. If I don't feel like he's satisfying me, then I'm going to divorce him.
Okay,
That's the
so
distinction
a
between the
duty
two.
is a moral or legal obligation or responsibility. It has nothing with negating feelings. In fact, sometimes doing your duty means that you are being
You just
brave
read a
and
Google
empathetic.
definition of duty. There's multiple different definitions of duty. How about you read the
What's one that says
philosophical?
it
How
negates
about you read the
feelings? Give me your
philosophical
favorite.
definition? How about
All
you
right,
read
give
the
me that
philosophical
one.
definition
Give me
of
that
duty?
one.
No, I'm giving you what I'm telling you. A duty is not just a feeling.
You talked
You
about
can
dignity.
feel
You
like
talked
doing
about
your
respect.
duty.
You talked a whole lot about feelings while trying not to talk about feelings. Very
No,
weird.
I don't think you
I don't
understand
think
because
they don't
you
understand it.
yeah,
They
I
don't
truly don't think you
understand duty.
understand. Well, let me ask a question then to you, Amy.
Okay.
So let's say, well, do you work? Do you have a job?
I do.
You do have a job. Or do you
Mhm.
feel like going to work every day?
I do.
You feel like going to work every day.
I'm groggy in the morning, but I love my job. It's a joy to go to my job. I do something.
So every day you work. So every day since you've been working there, you felt like going to work. There hasn't been a day where it was like, I really don't feel like going, but you went instead.
Well, I guess I'm groggy sometimes until I get my coffee, and I don't like Mondays.
Okay. Do you ever do something that you don't want to do, but you know you have
Yes.
to?
Yes, that is a part of self-discipline and discipline in general.
Okay.
That's a duty.
Duty.
A duty is doing, again,
Something you don't want to do, but you know it's right to do it.
well, what if you
Or
want to
not
do your
doing
duties?
something.
What if you want to do your duties?
That's fine. That's great.
That's even better.
It does nothing to do with the feelings.
Right. We don't think it has to do with feelings.
That's your argument. We
That
don't
is
think it
your
has to do with
argument. You're
feelings.
getting all twisted up.
So now you understand.
Right.
So now, if we're speaking about feelings, since Amy, that was your whole argument, and well, feminism is great because it's about forget about the equal. Like we're never going to be equal, and I think that you truly know that. But it's like, well, I want to feel equal.
No, we're supposed to be equal under the law. No one on earth
Suppose
is equal.
suppose you're making this assertion to say that we're supposed to be equal under the law. The 19th Amendment, when did that happen? Prior to the 19th Amendment, did women have equal rights? Like could they vote?
No,
like
we had to push. We had to push for that.
Oh, what'd you do?
So
What did women do to push for it? What do we do? Wiggle our signs? Woo!
I'm sorry. Is
Scary.
that not
Be in your
how?
feelings.
Like,
Yeah,
how
is
did
that
we go
not
and
how
fight for
we
the vote and
actually
take
To
go
come
out? You
scream and
protested,
yell and
we
fight for
gathered?
their rights, which
We
is a
did.
joke.
We
That's
fought.
why
We
Erin
fought.
is
Oh my
here today.
goodness.
Erin is here today because those women fought for their rights. That's why
No.
Erin has a debit card. That's why she can
No.
vote and she can show and have her opinions in front
I'm
of us.
here today because
Shit on
men
feminism.
allowed
That's why
me
she's
to.
here.
No,
No,
we
Allowed
who allowed you?
wiggling signs
Wow.
doesn't do anything. This
Who
is exactly
allowed
why we
you?
should not be
Who-
in charge. Can I
Nobody
please
listened
speak?
to you before,
What?
right? Nobody was listening to women before. We couldn't vote.
Yes, they were. They were
Who was
listening to
listening to?
women.
Oh, really?
Their families, their husbands were listening to them. Their grandparents were listening to them. You can laugh all you want. Maybe you don't know anything about American history
I'm
or
talking about
Canadian
you
history.
coming here, sitting in front of people and using this platform.
Yes.
Women would be barred from it. No, if there was no feminism,
No,
this would
no,
be
actually,
a
they
male-centric
wouldn't.
thing. Yes, yes,
They
it
allowed
would.
us to speak. They allowed
Do
us to
you-
speak
do
in
you have a
public.
debit
Women were
card?
writers. Got it.
Speak.
You can't talk.
Do you have a
can't
bank
respond to
account?
anything. I'll just let you go.
Do you have a bank account?
Of course I do.
Did
I
you have
know
a bank
what you're
account
going
before
to
feminism
say.
or your husband? Hang on. Did you have a bank account before where all the husbands used to keep all the money? So
Really?
about
I
you
had no
now? Yeah.
idea.
No, so how did you get that bank
Mahleej,
account then?
do you have debt?
Hang
Are you
on,
in debt
please.
right
Hang
now?
on. I'm talking to
Do you
her,
have
please.
debt?
Hang on 1 second. No, I don't have any debt. Erin.
Yes.
Yes. So why do you think you have a bank account now?
Because men allowed me to, because men allowed the vote. Men allowed all the things. If they want to take it away right now, they can. And there isn't a damn thing you or I can do about it.
Okay, well, that's another whole
Fight.
thing. So
We'll get our
if-
signs. I forgot. We have to make signs. We'll make signs. They'll tell us we have to stop,
Okay.
and they'll use all of their physical might
okay.
to
So
stop
you-
us.
Your
you know.
argument is men gave us the right, so we took
Yes.
it, right? Like the
Yeah, and they
women
can
that
take it
were out
away.
there the women that were out there pushing for it had nothing to do with it. It was because men were like,
Right?
you know what?
No, that was
Hang on,
AstroTurf.
let me please. Men
It's
were like,
AstroTurf.
yeah, we've, you know what? We've been oppressing them for hundreds of years, but now we will give them a little bit of choice, you know,
Yeah,
and we will give
they
them this
did.
and that.
You want to know why?
Why do you choose to fall for that propaganda feminism that has given to you and just give away your card? not be
Because
on
I know
there?
the history of communism. And I know
Oh.
that you don't get communism
Now we're-
without feminism. They need the women to go and vote for the things like opening the borders, like, you know, Jesus, all the things that we voted for. I'm trying not to insult anybody on the panel, but we voted for all these social things. We voted to give government so much power, and we think that we're independent. No, we haven't. We've moved the man aside and welcomed in daddy government. So rather
who's
than
at the top of the government, man or a female? Who's on the top? Like who they're voting
Men
for? Is it a
mostly,
male or
men
Hey,
female?
hey,
mostly.
Erin, I see where you was
Males,
going.
right?
Truth
Okay.
isn't insulting, so you good.
So males
isn't
are on
insulting.
top that women are voting for. So the policy and everything else is coming from the top, which is a man, right? You agree?
There are corrupt men. And
Oh.
those are the ones that allowed the women to get the vote because they wanted women to vote a certain way. Just like every other time when people have gotten the vote. Just like every time when a certain group of immigrants would come, like Irish would come over in the early 1900s, and then politicians would pander to them to get them to support what they wanted. That's all it is. It's politics. And most women did not want to
anti-immigrant too?
vote. What?
Are you anti-immigrant? Like you don't like immigrants? That's what it sounds like to me. You don't like immigrants?
I think we've got way too many coming in, and therefore we are losing our identity as a people. So yeah,
Oh,
I like countries.
which identity?
Our Christian founding when we came here and settled from Europe. That.
Came from Europe, so you also migrated.
Are you going to give me the well, who was here first stupid debate?
No, I'm just asking you. You also migrated, right?
I migrated? What are you
You said
saying?
you
I don't understand your question.
Came from Europe, right? So you weren't here.
A
You guys also
group
came
of
from
settlers,
Europe,
I'll
right?
break it down. A group of settlers came from Europe and settled the East Coast of the United States. Now, do I like that slavery was there, this and that? No, but we all came together eventually in 1865. And we're making it work. But the problem is we're letting all these new people in with way different worldviews. And
I totally
I
agree with you.
frankly
I
like
totally
my
agree with you with
worldview.
that. I totally agree with you. But when I see the religious people, then I compare to other religious people, and you guys don't have that many different views when it comes to women, especially, and the rights. Like, I swear to God, you guys have the same views as other religious extremism. They give me the same points that you're talking about. Now, are you on that side? Because there's this side now that wants to send all brown, blacks, Chinese, Jews, everybody out of their country. Are you on one of those sides? You just want an ethno-white state because you came from Europe? You want
No,
to,
and I
keep your
didn't say that.
identity?
I didn't
Oh,
say
okay.
that. I am
Just
saying that
making it clear. Nowadays, you never know.
you're not making it clear. I know exactly what you're doing. Thank you. You're just trying to put me in a certain box so you can say, oh, you're bad. And when you say, oh, you religious people, this, that,
No, I
if
never
you're
said that.
secular, you're just as religious in your mindset and the way you want it to be. Because y'all hate our God. You don't, you have
we don't.
absolute disdain and contempt.
Let me just make it clear.
for
I
us.
hate all gods, not yours. I am an agnostic. I don't believe in any of the gods. And this is where this whole marriage construct, everything has come. Earlier, you said that Eve wanted more. The whole concept of Adam and Eve is so flawed. Like, I don't understand where you're coming from. Adam and Eve were there, then they were kicked out of the heaven, then they got married, then they had kids, and then their kids got married to each other. I mean, your whole idea is flawed. You're coming from an incense, like people that
Mahleej.
sleep with
Am I
their
saying your name correctly?
ancestors, right?
Is it
So hang
Mahleej,
on, let me
I
Mahleej?
don't
clear my
think you
point.
want to talk about
Hang on.
incest.
Hang on. That is the whole idea behind that whole religious thing. That is,
No,
if you're remembering
Mahleej,
Adam
you're
and Eve, that's
incorrect.
how it happened.
Mahleej, you're incorrect when you're speaking about Christianity. You're
Yeah.
100% incorrect. And you're trying to make a comparison to Christianity and Islam, totally different.
Thank you.
But anyways, Mahleej,
So Adam and Eve didn't have kids?
you said that you're agnostic. You don't believe in a God, right? And this debate currently is about, is feminism good or bad for marriage, right? So the good or the bad. How do you ground morality? Or do you think that morality is just subjective?
Depending on what time you're in, it has been subjective. It can change
Okay, so
because
you think,
it
okay.
took Christianity thousands of years to decide that slavery
Well,
was bad.
you answered the question. So if it's the case that morality is subjective, it can change what you think is good or bad. That can change tomorrow. That can change in a minute. That's what you think, right? So how can any of your claims be more valid than ours if you think that it's all subjective? I'll break it down for you. You think that morality is subjective. So how is you saying that feminism is good and we're saying that feminism is bad? How would it be more how would your claim be more valid than ours if you believe that it's subjective?
Because morally, as a society at this time and age, we have decided that we are going to give each gender equal rights. Morally, thousands of years ago, we were not agreeing on that. Like I give you an example. It took Christianity thousands of years to decide slavery was
you're not
wrong, but
answering the
then
question.
we came to a point where, okay, we decided, okay, this is bad. Now, morally, this is wrong. We're not going to do slavery anymore. Do you understand?
Yeah, you're not answering the question. No, you don't understand.
No, you said that.
So real quick, I'll ask it again because you're speaking about God and we can go ahead and have this debate, right? And you don't believe in any God. You're agnostic or atheist or whatever. You don't believe in a God. You ground your morality based off of the current trends of society and in different times and things like that. That's how you base your morality. So how can you justify that feminism, your view of feminism is better than our view of feminism, since morality in your eyes is all subjective?
Because the way you're looking at feminism is still in the 1800s. We're not living in the 1800s.
You just said that is subjective,
morality
so it doesn't
is
matter.
subjective. It changes with time. It has changed with time. You're still stuck in the 1800s. So you're
Okay,
thinking
so let me ask
feminism
you
from,
this.
hang on, you asked me a question, right? Let me answer.
You just answered it.
Can I
You
answer?
You actually just answered it. So if it's the case that morality changes with time, in 3 years, if we pass some laws and get rid of women don't have the ability to vote anymore, and gays and a whole LGBTQ plus community can't get married anymore, and no fault divorce is gone. You can't just divorce your man based off how you feel. Would that be morally good? Because it's just a
No, it
law.
wouldn't be morally good because I don't think we're going in that
Okay, so
direction
guess
right
what?
now.
What you're saying is just dumb.
Let me ask you a question. So if you brought back slavery 3 years from now, do you think morally that's okay and okay with Christianity?
I think that slavery is always objectively bad.
Right.
Okay. So
Do you
how
think
come
that
it
it was
took you?
good? Do you think that it was good?
Christians to figure that out now, like after thousands of years?
No, you're incorrect. What are you speaking about? Christians was the ones that got rid of slavery.
I was gonna say,
But
right.
no, you
What
got
are you
rid of
speaking
it.
about?
But
When
how
we got rid
long
of
went
slavery-
after
And
Christianity?
the ones to
talking
push
about?
for it.
Hang on.
No.
How long?
No.
It took you thousands of years
No.
to figure that out, and then
No,
you
you're
just
incorrect.
brought it up a few hundred years ago. It took you
You're
that
incorrect. Once again, it's very simple. So when I adhere to objective morality, God is good. God is the standard of what's good, right? You don't believe in a God, you have no standard that you can appeal to outside of your feelings of what is good. You get what I'm saying? So therefore, morality changes whenever you want. Under your ideology, slavery was good back in the day because it's based off of time and the
Right.
people that agree on it. But under my morality, no, God said slavery is bad. It's always bad. He sets the standard of good. You get what I'm saying? So even though people did bad things, it wasn't never good. It was still bad under God's standard.
Right.
That's the point. So your arguments is not better
it took
than,
thousands
is
of
not
years
more
to figure
valid
that
than
out.
ours.
So
Okay.
I just want
Get
to.
it.
So I agree. It took thousands of years, unfortunately, and the Confederates.
No, you're
even
wrong on talking about it took thousands of years to figure that out. That is incorrect. It didn't take any time. It was
when did we end
always
slavery
bad.
then? When did
Sure,
we end
no, no,
slavery?
I don't think you understand.
I
don't think you
agree. It was
Let me
always
say it again
bad.
slowly. No,
So,
stop it.
we
Let me say it
agree
again
it was
slowly.
always bad. We
Okay,
agree
so if you
objectively it was
agree,
always bad.
oh wait,
but-
you, Amy, then your argument in your worldview is much different than Mahleej, because she doesn't think that morality is objective like you just claimed.
Every
She thinks that
agnostic
it's
and atheist will
subjective.
have something different. Every atheist. That's the great thing. So I find that it's only theists that push this objective, subjective morality. It's objective morality that comes from a subjective person.
No,
they
God isn't a person. God has a different ontology than human beings.
That's what you
God,
claim.
listen,
You
stop
can't
it.
prove
God
it.
is, well, I can actually prove it. You want me to prove it?
Sure.
Do you believe
what
in
got,
do you believe in
tag?
logic? Do
I
you believe
do
in
believe
logic?
in the laws of logic, the tautologies. You go in there, what else?
Got it. Yeah, we can go right there. So you believe in non-physical things like
what?
transcendental categories, metaphysical things like logic, like number theory, like language theory. You believe in all of these things that you can't measure, it's not tangible, but you believe in these things, correct?
They are languages. So logic is when we as beings do reasoning.
Is it objective or subjective?
It is we are subjective beings trying to understand what the objective reality is. So a rock objectively exists because of the physical laws of nature. But we got truth values. Once animals came around, you start having conscious beings, we were then able to make propositions like the rock is true, and logic was able to form.
What I'm saying is logic object? You said that we're subjective, but I'm asking you, is logic subjective or objective? Meaning that, let's say all of the metaphysical categories, as far as not all of them, but the logic, number theory, language theory, things like that, right? So, is 2 + 2 always? Does 2 + 2 always equal 4?
There are actually examples that where you can make it differently, but generally speaking, when we're using mathematics as a language, 2 plus 2 equals 4. There isn't a 2
No, I'm
plus
asking
2
you, does it
equals 4
always?
objectively going 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2 plus 2
Okay.
equals
So
4
if
as
human
reasoning
beings
we do
wasn't
as
here,
beings.
if human beings wasn't here, would
Mhm.
2 plus 2 still equal 4?
We wouldn't have that equation if human beings weren't there. Even algebra, how we're writing it
No,
up, was
that's
all
not answering
created
my
by
that's not
humans.
answering my
2
question.
plus
You
I've
2
saying
equals
wanted
4 would
you
not
make an
exist
assertion.
without
I've
humans.
wanted
Yes.
to allow this to roam some, but I do want to,
Sure.
before we go into the Q&A, were there any topics, anything in particular, for example,
Yes.
from Erin's opening, like any studies that you wanted to discuss, Erin? Amy, it sounds like you've got something you want to discuss, but
Well,
from the openings,
oh no, go.
particularly for the topic at hand, are there any last
Okay.
things we didn't get to
Can I
address?
also just say more? I
Yes.
did say I looked up
Hey James, you
duty.
mind if we
I will give you that
finish
it
this?
is what you're trying to do
I
when you
what?
separate yourself out from feelings. So I did want to at least correct myself in real time. It is seeming so you feel tired, but duty compels you to work. You might feel angry, but duty requires calm. So it is
Wait, hold
what
on.
you're
How
doing
is
in the
this?
face
How
of
is this like
emotion.
responding to
Oh,
what I
I
just asked for? But
oh, then I apologize. I'm
Oh, they
sorry. I
wanted to
wanted to
finish it.
say it.
Yeah,
I
yeah, he
Okay.
was conceding on
apologize.
an argument. He was conceding
Well,
on a
I
point that I
did.
made.
I did want to
He made a
correct
concession.
myself because I felt bad and I didn't want the myself to be wrong. But I have lots written down. I will say that you don't need a man. I believe that we got our rights from our liberal foundation and fighting with those picket signs. It is not that men give us our rights. It is that we as humans come together and decide that we deserve rights. That was to go back on topic.
gotcha. What was it that you said earlier, David? Did you say that I modded you? I can't remember. What is it? I didn't hear you.
Oh no, I was saying that we were we were having a metaphysical conversation in regards to proving what's good, and basically making arguments for objective morality. And I wanted to know if you wanted us to spend a little more time on that, or if you wanted to move on. You're the moderator, so I'll do whatever you want.
I would, and people have enjoyed it, but then I usually like to let it wander a little bit because variety is nice for keeping it fresh at the same time. But if I let it go too long, people will be like, all right, we're off topic. So I
They're
do
going to get
want
their
to,
picket signs.
Fair enough.
if there are any other topics that we hadn't covered before we go into the Q&A, but that was
I
good.
just-
It was
I
good
wanted to
philosophy.
mention a
It's fun.
study. I wanted to mention a study done very recently. I can't remember the date that it was done, but it was this year. It's from YouGov and the Institute for Family Studies. Married mothers are 2 times more likely to report being very happy than single or childless women. There were 3,000 women in the United States ages 25 to 55, and 47% of married women with children report that their life feels enjoyable. Goes down to 40% for unmarried with children and down to 34% for unmarried without children. And women go around, and it's on TikTok and it's everywhere because it's the propaganda. Oh, single women are happier. No, they're not. They're actually not. Married women with children are happier. They're not slaves. They're not like oppressed. They're happy. They want to serve their husbands. Their husbands serve them too. They serve each other. And that's where you get this idea of equality, is you serve each other equally. And actually, Amy said it well in her opening about, it's about, well, if she's good at, changing the oil and he really does a good, chicken Parmesan, well, then they can do that and they can come together. It was never about, oh, these are specific female roles and these are specific male roles. That's a 1950s idea. But back in, say, the 1800s, when we were agrarian, yeah, the women were out in the fields. My great aunt would make the big breakfast, and, her husband and the ranch hands and the farm hands and the kids would, eat up. And then those who were able would then go out to the field. When Aunt June was finished and had cleaned up, she was out there too, because everybody pulled together and it was complementary. This whole idea of the slave and women were writers. Women had freedom. They didn't want to be single. They wanted a family. They wanted children. And women nowadays, they've been brainwashed to go against the nature of wanting those things. We're literally made to be women. In this day and age, not to be personal, but because of that, we don't even know what it means to be a woman anymore. If it's just go be a girl boss and get yours and don't need no man. And it's not working out. Society's going downhill quick. And just because, well, it's more time has gone by, just because more time goes by doesn't mean we're doing things better. So that's what I wanted to say.
Can I just jump off that? I liked the way that you framed it. I just think that maybe it's just we're having a difference of words, because when you say serve each other equally, although that may have a religious framing, I agree with you. I think that is the name of the game, is that when you're in a relationship, it is about being a partner. Sometimes, you know, they get on your nerves, but you want to do something and make them happy anyway, and you do it. And so I think that it is really, you know, if you're looking for traditional roles and you find that person and they make you happy, I think in a way that even is feminism, because if both parties are saying, look, this is what I want, then I think that is saying, well, you've made the conscious decision. You're going to stay home, he's going to go to work, and yet as adults, you've said this is what we want. I think the same is true of a man and woman who decide to both go to work. I think this is true of a woman who goes to work and a man stays home. It's just, how are we, just to bring it back to what you said, how are we both serving each other so the family unit can be successful?
Serving each other, exactly.
I think that's Amy, what you said is not true. If you read a book called Occult Feminism, shout out to
Rachel
Wilson, right? It has some of the original writings of the suffragettes back then, where their ideology was to dismantle and get rid of patriarchal systems, get rid of the patriarchy. And by doing so, their objective was to dismantle the nuclear family, because they thought that, well, if we can get rid of the nuclear family, which means that get rid of these gender roles, right?
Right.
If we can get rid of these gender roles, therefore we can get rid of these patriarchal systems. So Erin was making a clear distinction. Even though you can be serving one another equally, meaning the equal part is, hypothetically, let's just say if me and Erin is in a relationship, I know she's probably married or something like that. I got a woman too, but hypothetically, right?
It's all right.
She may have will have different expectations than one another. I don't think both people have the same expectations, a man and a woman in a relationship. I don't even think both people have the same expectations when it's lesbian relationships, because one is always the masculine, one is the kind of the feminine, the top and the bottom, right? So therefore, it's never truly equal. What you're doing is you're serving the person based off of what they expect from you, because attraction isn't symmetrical, it's asymmetrical. Like opposites attract. We don't attract based off of our like full similarities and us being the same.
Sure, right. And I will say, it is not about saying, when we mean equal, we mean women can lift more than men. What we're saying is that under the law, we should have and be treated with fairness and equality, and in the relationship, it should be a 50-50 partnership. That's not always the way, but I think ideally, you want to feel like both of you are pulling your weight in whatever way you define it, in different ways. Sometimes that's child rearing, sometimes that is just clocking in 9 to 5.
Do you think there can be two captains of an airplane? Two pilots?
I guess that's a hard decision. I know that you have a captain, you generally have a pilot and a co-pilot.
Right.
You know, there's going to be some times where you have to have a leader. I don't know if marriage is the right way. What I will put as an asterisk is that if you truly think that you're a follower and you're a leader or blah, 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 don't force yourself to be extroverted if you're not extroverted, introverted when you're not introverted. There's going to be some times where maybe the man leads or maybe the woman leads. But
No, it's not that case. The woman is only leading if the man is docile and effeminate
what if
himself,
a
where
woman
the
likes that?
woman would well, I would say that generally speaking, women don't like that. I would say that currently, right now in modernity, maybe there are some women that think that they like that, and maybe some would like that because they've been indoctrinated and their mind has been diluted with the indoctrination of feminism. But if it's a clear distinction between men and women because we are different from a biological standpoint, which means that the things that women want in a relationship haven't really changed from when we were making fires with sticks and building shelters. Like, it really
Right.
hasn't changed. Women, they have a natural biological propensity to want a man that's can protect and provide for them based off the hunter and gatherer days. And even when women have all, like, basically the same rights that men have today, they still choose men that have leadership characteristic traits. So why is that?
I'll give you a chance to
always,
respond,
not
but then we do have to,
um
with their response, we have to go into the Q&A right after.
Okay, cool.
I
Are we doing
think the whole
closings
marriage
or no?
Nope.
Oh, no, closing, just Q&A. Okay.
the whole system of marriage, if you are going to get into a relationship like that, you have to love and respect each other, right? That means that if one day he can't pull up all the weight, I pull it. The whole leadership role, as soon as you get into the power dynamics that I'm above her or she says I'm above him, that's when your relationship is going to collapse. What we're talking about is equal, is like you treat each other equally, not that I am your ruler, you're my slave. You cannot have that. Or she can say, I am going to rule you and you're going to be my slave. It's a mutual understanding where you want to stay, not that the other person is forcing you to stay into that relationship, because anything coerced, forced is not very healthy. Not
You know,
for the
I
person,
would.
not for the kids. Do not interrupt, please. Hang on.
I was just gonna say I agree with that
I
one point
do
that
have
you
to,
made,
just because
but
we have to make this quick.
but I
you
wanted to
can
reply
finish my
30
point.
seconds to it.
I
I
Can I
didn't
get
finish
30
my
seconds
point.
to
You
it?
but
guys
what
have been talking for so long.
we
I just don't
Come on,
understand why
James.
you would say that.
I
Back
hate
in
to
the
do
day,
it, but
so
just because
he
I did
mentioned
say at
that
the
women
beginning,
always last point.
at the beginning, we'll give Mahleej a chance to answer your question, David,
Yeah,
and
fair
then we got
enough.
to go to the
All right,
Q&A.
all
Yes.
right.
So also he said that women need the same thing since, like, you know, they discovered fire. No, that's not true. We needed men before for resources and protection, but that's not the case now, right? We have our own resources. Actually, in this day and age, women are actually not asking for much from men because they have their own money, they have their own properties, whatever. All they're asking for men is for loyalty, love, and just be honest with them and treat them like a human being. They're not even asking them for money or anything else. And for some reason, men are even failing at that. That's what it is. Mutual respect. Thank
We'll
you.
jump into the Q&A. We do have a lot of questions, so we're going to try to move fast. And thank you very much for this first question. Coming in from Big League Drew, says, Mahleej, how would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast today?
I think this is the same guy. You ask me the same question every time. I told you I don't eat breakfast.
This one from Emperor Fat Ass Dogs says, let's see. That one I have to come back to because I don't know what they mean. Big League Drew says, is a hot dog a sandwich? If you guys want to weigh in, you can. Otherwise, we'll go to the next one.
Actually leaning towards yes. I guess I never thought of it, but
Anybody else? Bless My Vibe Code says, I couldn't care less if women have less children and humanity goes extinct. All right. They say the feminism has gotten so bad that I could watch it all burn. All right. In Their Shoes says, it went from being a debate to quarrel real fast. And Bless My Vibe Code says, let's see, Mahleej, it is kind of sad how you use Pakistan as the standard. It really speaks to the quality of humans, the quality of human you are.
Didn't bring in Pakistan. She did. I never even once mentioned Pakistan. No, that wasn't the case. You guys always bring it in, showing that you guys are, I don't know.
You're
You have to attack
describing
the whole-
men. You're
She has
describing
to-
those men.
No, I was talking in general. I don't know
No,
why
you're
you
not
brought in
describing
Pakistan.
Christian men, and they know it.
Did I say Pakistani men?
No,
Did
but
I
you're
say-
describing them. about the slave and we
no,
couldn't
because
choose.
there's no men slaving. Why are there divorces happening? You are trying to tell me that in the
Because
Western
of women
countries,
like you,
all
that's
men
why.
are. No. Are you trying to tell me that no Christian man has ever beaten his wife? No Christian man has ever raped his wife or killed any human being here in the West? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, because that would
Okay.
be an extreme case. But what's it like in Pakistan?
But we're
don't
not
get
talking
to
about
choose. You
Pakistan. I don't
are
know
a
why
slave,
you're
all
stuck in
those things.
Pakistan. I don't know. I think you're more stuck in Pakistan than I am because I was talking about here in the Western countries. I don't know
Yeah,
why
but you're
you
not.
brought
And that's what the
Pakistan.
comments
And
about.
then you're saying, oh, you're comparing to those men. No, I'm talking about men that beat their wives. I'm talking about men that rape women. I'm talking about men that commit
Okay.
femicides. I'm talking about those men. And that happens here too, to your
Whatever.
surprise.
Whatever.
Whatever. Okay, this one coming in from Emperor Fat Ass Dog says, I think that Amy and Mahleej, you might call this person a turf. They say, how can Amy speak about feminism without living the full life of a woman? So, Amy, they're challenging. You're saying, if you're not born a woman, then how can you speak about feminism?
Sure, I would say feminism truly is egalitarian. It's the same reason that I fight for abortion rights. I'm a moderate. I like compromises, but it comes from a place of empathy. Whether I have a uterus or not, I'm going to fight for those who have uteruses.
This one from In Their Shoes says, we have moved from a society of reality to a society of global hallucinations. If I see a square and feel like it's a circle, then it's a circle. Does anybody know what this might map onto from the discussion?
I do. I disagree. I think that if I may be so bold, I think they're just taking more pot shots at gender. That's the hot thing right now politically. And it's not. I just believe that it is a social phenomena and that sex is biological. And I believe that there are good reasons to be a feminist, whether you have either sex or either gender.
Erin, you don't look convinced. I don't know. What thoughts?
Convinced of, well, the square circle thing was about there is truth. And it isn't about how you feel about it. It isn't about if you feel like it's a circle, because it's a square. That's what it was about.
Can I respond to that? Because I agree that there is things that we are dealing with logic claims, as in if it's raining outside, that's either true or false. I do believe that when we are talking about things like gender, I believe that we are dealing with emotions. Dare I say, when we're dealing with relationships and marriage, I believe that emotions are a critical component. I'm not going to say it's the only thing. There's many factors. However, I would be remiss if we did not really attach emotions to so many of the human experiences that we love and enjoy. So it's true, you can't look in your brain and say, I like vanilla ice cream, and this is going to match to my brain state, and the same is true of my gender. It is not a physical, biological argument. It is a social, anthropological one, and thus it has nothing to do with denying that a square is a square.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we don't believe in gender. You're just talking about personalities. Then how you describe gender is you're talking about personalities, feelings, and stuff like that. It's male, female, and the male and the female is attached to man and woman. That's what that is. So when you're speaking about, well, you would have to prove that. Well, actually, you right now, looking at you, you actually agree. You can't get rid. You cannot ever become a real woman. You can't become a woman at all. This is why it's called trans.
Like
they got to put a trans woman in front of it.
Instead of biological woman. There are biological women and trans women. But when you say real women, you're just giving your feelings. There's no real women. You don't open a biological text and it says real woman.
Okay, so you said that you feel like a woman. Can I say that I feel like a lion?
That's going to species. So now you're no
Can I
longer
say it
dealing
though?
with the spectrum.
Well, how can
You
you
can
measure
say
my
it. You're no
feelings?
longer talking about the
But how
same
can,
subject.
am I right? Am I right or wrong?
No, you can't change species. Species is not the same as feeling masculine and feminine as a human being. So you are trying to now transcend gender,
Okay,
something that takes billions or millions of years. It has nothing to do with.
No, let's make it real simple. I cannot feel like a lion because a lion has a different ontology than me, right?
It's genes.
No,
I mean, you're talking about existence, but it's specifically
it's a
genes.
different being. It's a different being than me. Is that correct?
Is a lion still a mammal, just like I am and you are?
Is a lion, once again, I'm making a clear distinction here. I cannot feel like a lion. You said that I can't feel like a lion because basically you're saying I have a different ontology. Yeah, different biology, different ontology. My nature, my being is not the same as a lion. Again, your being, your nature, your biology is not the same as a woman. So therefore, you can't feel like it. I'm using your argument against you. You said that I can't feel like a lion because my ontology, my biology is different. You can't feel like a woman because your ontology, your biology is different.
That's misunderstanding.
That isn't misunderstanding. I use your argument against you.
Sure. Yes, misunderstanding. That's not how biology works. You can't change your species just because you feel like it. Gender is a feelings-based social phenomena issue, not the same thing. Category issue.
Do men and women have the same ontology?
Do men and women exist the same? I would say we feel differently.
Okay, so therefore that is a yes, right? Men and
Every
women.
human is different.
That's a no.
Genetically.
No. I'm speaking about ontology, the nature
of their existence. I understand.
It's tied to the biology and all of that. So my question for you: do men and women have the same ontology?
Do men and women have the same they exist, they feel differently. Biologically, males and females exist as one thing, and then men and women are a spectrum of feelings.
Thank you for answering that.
You're welcome.
That answer is no. You could have just said no. Men and women do not share the same ontology. That's no, right? So if you don't have the same ontology, then how do you know you're not adhering to the law of logic, the law of identity. You are not a woman.
That's your claim.
You are not a woman, so therefore you don't know what a woman would feel like.
What's your evidence for your claim? You've made a claim. I'm not a woman.
Yeah, you're not.
Look, I don't think you're a man. What now? I just mean that to be mean and shocking. I actually do believe.
So
see, I feel mean being mean even in that moment.
Prove anything. You say that you are a trans woman, so you are not a woman because you have to put trans.
I have to respect your feelings, though, right?
Hang on, he keeps telling you that you don't know
are a
how
trans
women
woman.
feel.
Prove you're a man.
He sits there and tells women how women feel every single day. He's gonna tell all the women how we should feel, but you can't tell women how they should feel. It's so funny.
No, I'm not the one claiming. It's a clear distinction. I'm not the one claiming that I am a woman and I know how a woman feels. Am I claiming that?
Yes, you are. You keep saying it's better for women if they were home, they were having babies. That's their role. That's your claim that we feel
No, that's
better
not my claim. My claim was never feelings. My claim was never about feelings.
Not feelings.
I'd never appealed to feelings. That's you guys' claim.
You're defining the gender role of the woman, right? Like why do you think that us women
it's called the internal critique.
Roles? Why?
Okay.
And secondly,
Mahleej.
it doesn't matter what gender she is. The topic at hand is feminism good for marriage or not? That is the topic. If it was men can't talk about it, then you shouldn't be here, right? You shouldn't be. What I just don't understand why you guys keep going on.
That
to the
isn't
gender,
my argument.
Going away
It's
from
not
the
about
topic.
that.
Totally
it's about getting to the basics. It's the basics of how do you know what you know.
If we're talking about a man can't talk about that topic that we're talking about, then why?
We never said that. Who said that?
That's not what he said.
That's what you're saying, that how can you tell about this? You're not even a woman, so how can you talk about it?
Nope,
when did I ever say you're not a woman, you can't talk about it? No, I said that it's an internal critique. Amy, all of his arguments was, well, feminism is good for marriage because it's based off how you feel. All of this feelings type stuff. So I'm just doing an internal critique. He's saying that he feels like a woman. Well, that's subjective. How do you know? I say that I feel like a lion. He says, no, Cooley, you don't feel like a lion. The lion, you don't share the same ontology as a lion. That's a different species. Well, guess what? You don't share the same ontology as a woman.
Okay, but again, that is your claim. I would like you to prove
No,
it.
it's your claim. I just proved it.
Okay.
It's proven.
You just proved it? How? Show
Yeah.
me. Give me evidence that I am not a biological woman.
Because when you decide, yes, I can feel like this, therefore it's true. And then David's like, okay, based on that, then can I say the same thing about something else? Following the same logic that you just used, you say no. Which
Sure, because they're two
you
different
only
subjects.
like it when it's what you want.
Again,
It proves
just
that.
because they are different subjects, that
No.
just means
It's
one is
feelings.
biology and one is sociology. Again, when you want your God to be a male and a he, all of a sudden it leaves biology. It doesn't have to be an XY because he exists on a different plane because he doesn't have biology. So you can't have it as gender equals sex because that fails. You say he's a he, you say he's a father, you say he's a man, all of these things that are gender, which are social, which are
don't call God a
feelings
man.
based.
We don't
You
call
don't call
God
God
a
a
man.
father?
He is a father.
Well,
But he
you
is
feel that
outside all the
way.
rest of it.
but
And you
can we
can't
admit-
comprehend that.
Sure,
And
can
you
you
seem
admit
very angry at him.
Sure. Well, I mean, your God's kind of a dick. It depends on the God, but it's a character. So I don't hate them because that'd be like hating Voldemort.
Would you say it about Muhammad?
Yes.
Okay, just wondering.
I mean, Muhammad didn't
This
cut the
might
move,
be-
but now we're so far out of the way.
This might
Okay.
be. We'll jump into the next question. This one
I
coming in
wanted
from.
to reply to that, but okay. So
I'll give you a chance. This time I'll give you a chance, David. I know last time you were dying for one. Let's go for it.
Oh, thank you. I can reply to it. So, Amy, you said some things there, and you're speaking about God. You're not making an argument. I think the argument that you're trying to do is, well, you can't say that gender isn't real because you give God a gender and God is a he and God is a father, and like that is. Are you trying to tie that together?
What I'm trying to say is the only reason that you think God is a father is because of emotions and feelings and cultural attachments. There's no evidence for why you would call. I mean, we generally would put birth and things like that for a woman. So you would
I get what you're
actually
saying now.
prefer to
Okay, so
prescribe
let's
the
just
God
prove
as a
everything that
mother
you
and
said
she.
wrong. Yeah, let's just
Okay.
prove what you said. So
What does it say he
God,
in the Bible?
God the Father, right? So Father is it's a position, it's a title based off a clear hierarchy, a distinction of roles and duties. This is why it's called a father. You get what I'm saying? So God the Father is also a man, Jesus in flesh form. You get what I'm saying? So no, you're totally wrong. In our Christian doctrine, it's totally coherent, makes logical sense, and it has nothing to do with this whole whatever the argument you're trying to make. And it's not a good argument. Like, I'm trying to
I have
understand
to
what you're
jump-
saying, but it isn't
God
connecting.
is also
And I have a
feeling.
question.
God is also
I have to
imaginary, just something
jump into here.
created, right?
So let me jump into this next question. Jess C says, Mahleej, if you don't like what marriage is with duty, loyalty, and commitment, instead of bastardizing it, can you just not get married at all and make agreements with your partner instead?
Actually, that's where we are going. Most of the people are choosing not to get married, and that's why we have other laws like common law. So if you're with a partner, you don't really have to get married these days. You just make your own commitments or whatever. When you separate, you divide whatever you want. But yeah, a lot of people are choosing not to get married anymore. Actually, if you look at the stats, people are getting into relationships, but they're choosing not to get married. So it's not a big deal for me because marriage is a social contract created by religion. It's and we didn't talk about marriage as much as we talked about gender here, because if you were to talk about on the topic, there's a lot I had to say, because it's just a social contract. It's like It's basically a transaction that you're doing.
So hold on, I have a question. So you said people aren't really getting married as much anymore, and I agree with you. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for secular people to get married. It's a religious sacrament. However, if feminism, let's just say it started in 1920, it didn't, but just for, let's say 100 years ago, feminism, right? And we have more feminism now than we did then, right? We also have less marriage. So how can feminism have been good for marriage if we have less of it now?
Because it's not only because of feminism. That's the whole thing. It's not only because of feminism that people are not getting married anymore. The fact that you get married, there's a lot of legal obligations that come with it. And then when you get a divorce, that's another huge thing that has to go through. You're spending a lot of finances in it. People think it's easier, for us to just, just be in a common law relationships and getting married, because it's just, you don't need to show to the whole world. If two people are in love, they can stay together. And I've known people that have been together forever. They never got married till they had some kind of a legal issue, then they got married, but they stayed together for like 25, 30 years. So it's just a social contract that we have to make for religious people. Otherwise, people are still getting together and they're still staying in relationships.
Yeah, that's just untrue. There's a clear cause, and we can see the effects. We can see the outcomes when we talk about things like no-fault divorce, where feminism was a huge influence for no-fault divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And after no-fault divorce, you see that the divorce rate increased. It had a huge short-term increase, skyrocketed, and then the long-term effects with women having that choice where they can now just say, oh, well, yeah, I feel like I don't love my man anymore. I don't have to prove anything, show any proof of anything at all. I can just divorce him based off how I feel. Just
Mhm.
like you guys like feelings. And then also, when we look at other
What do
things
you have
like
to
feminism,
prove? What do
well,
you have to
listen,
prove?
when we look at other things, feminism push women in the workforce and also women in getting higher education. So this would be pushing off marriage and pushing off them having children, because they're prioritizing their career and education rather than prioritizing, settling down and getting married. That's what I'm saying. Like, think
Are
about
you
it.
against women getting educated? Are you against women getting education?
If you prioritize your career, prioritize education and then a career in your 20s, then when you're 30, well, what do you think that women are doing in their 20s if they're prioritizing their career and education? Oh, what else? Studying and dealing with hookup culture. They're having sex with many men. That's normally what happens, especially with feminism. They are for sexual liberation, right? Where do you think sexual liberation came from? So this is one, school, career, but having sex a whole lot. So when women are in their 30s and they're like, okay, now I should settle down and try to find a man. Well, guess what? No, men don't really want them anymore because they gave up their primary, most youthful years. Men are attracted to youth and beauty. It's just a biological propensity that's in our nature to be attracted to that. We're attracted to inexperience. This is what I'm saying. So women with more experience.
Are the men also following the same thing? Are they also not having sex? Are you on the equal ground that men should not also be having sex? They should also be virgins if they're demanding a virgin.
Yeah, I do agree with that. The thing is, I do agree that both men and women should not be promiscuous and they should wait until marriage. But the thing is, a man can't have sex with a woman unless she grants access to sex, right? So women hold the key to sex. Now, back in the day, women used to shame one another if they were out being promiscuous because it would make it harder for them to lock down a man. Well, how could a woman lock down a marriage if Katie and Becky is the whore of the town, but she's the virgin? Well, Kyle is just going to keep smashing Katie and Becky instead of marrying Michelle. You get what I'm saying? So women,
why can't the man control? No. You put that burden on the woman too. Why can't that man not go to Katie and the other woman and go marry? Why isn't the man choosing?
It's supply and demand. So do you think that it's demand? Okay. Yeah, I'll ask you a question. Just basic economics. Do you think that it's easier to get rid of the supply or the demand?
If you got rid of the supply, they will find other
No,
alternatives.
What do you think is easier to get rid of, the supply or the demand? What do you have control over?
Everyone should have control over themselves. It's you men that need to control your urges.
I'm just making an analogy real quick.
Control your urges.
I know, real quick. I'm making an analogy real quick.
Question and then you keep talking.
But you're not answering it. You're not answering it. What do you think is easier to get rid of, the supply or demand?
And answer for me. How about that?
What do you think is easier to get rid of, the supply or the demand?
I'm talking about the demand. The demand should be ending, right? People shouldn't be demanding for certain things.
How can you get rid of the demand when the demand comes from a biological instinct when we're speaking about sex, right? You can't get rid of the demand.
Okay.
Men are going to be horny. What you can get rid of.
Men that want sex. Women don't want sex at all, right? Is that what you're saying?
You can get rid of. No, you're not following the argument. What you can get rid of, the argument is very simple.
Urges that men have, right?
Stop it. What you can get rid of. No, what you can get rid of, listen.
Do women get urges the same
It's not the same as a man.
Yes or no?
Men get turned on like, I'll answer it. Stop talking. Men get turned on like a light switch. Women get turned on like a dial knob. It's a slow process. So you can say that, yeah, they both get horny, but not to the same degree. I'm speaking about sex, how women hold access to sex. A man can't have sex with a woman unless she grants access to it. So therefore, women are the supply. Men are only as faithful or only as sexual,
excuses.
Moving as they're only as sexual as their options. A man can't have sex with a woman.
Do not give into temptation. So anyone that is going to come in front of you and tempt you, you're just going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to give into my natural urges. Here, I'm going to bang you.
A lot of men don't, though.
The virgin.
A lot of men don't.
Accountability on your end at all.
So
most men don't have the opportunity.
That's it.
Listen, a third of men is either a virgin or haven't had. A third of men between the ages of 18 to 30 is either a virgin or haven't had sex in a year. So what you're speaking about is just not true, right? So what I'm saying is, it's very simple. It's supply and demand. Women supply sex. We're speaking about marriages, right? The reason why marriage rates are not as high as before and divorce rates are higher is because sexual liberation via the feminist movement indoctrinating women to prioritize their career, prioritize education and sexual liberation. So therefore, these women are more promiscuous than ever before, right? So if women are promiscuous, I'll land it right here. Since women are more promiscuous than ever before, then they make it harder for other women. That's what I'm saying. Back in the day, women used to shame other women for being the whore of the town, which then would deter them from sleeping around because it makes it harder for a man to want to settle down with them. Like, men aren't going to settle down with a woman that's because why would a man want to marry you if they can get it? If they can get the milk from Katie, Brittany, and all of these other women.
So it's not indoctrination, it's education. What I will say is that hookups are okay. If you're in your 20s, I would actually just promote safe sex, because what generally happens is as you get older, after you have fun and things like that, you tend to lean towards long-term relationships. Eventually, you want something more committed, as we're trying to point towards with marriage. Again, not to keep on taking it to feelings, but I think that we should want quality over quantity. So I'm okay with the divorce rate going up, not because I want the divorce rate to go up, but because I would rather us have higher quality marriages. I don't want people to stay in miserable marriages just because they think they have an obligation. Do I think you should stay in marriage if you put a lot of breaks in between, as in like, well, we have kids, well, we have this so and so and so? Yes, we shouldn't be making irrational, fast decisions. But to go to the extreme, if you have an abusive relationship, either physical or mental, if you are unhappy for years on end and you really see no way out, and every other option you have found doesn't work, then I think that what we need to do is... So
you want women to be whores?
I'm okay with women or men being whores. I think that that's used as an insult word. I think not, instead of us trying to shame for sex, we should be pushing for as much safe sex before pre-committed relationships as possible, because
Okay,
that's
if you're
really what
pushing
we
for,
care
well,
about, or what I
let's just
care
see if
about,
this is, let's just
STDs.
see if this is logically consistent. If you're pushing for
Okey-dokey.
safe sex, that's what you said. Well, we should prioritize safe sex. Well, do
Mhm.
you think that scenario one, girl A, she has sex with 50 partners. Girl A,
Okay.
she has sex with one partner. Do you
Okay.
think that the probability is higher for girl A to get chlamydia and sexually transmitted diseases over the girl A that just only has sex with one partner?
Well, of course, every time you increase
Got it.
your
So
rate,
quantity, like you said, quantity isn't good, because if you increase the rate, probability increases of you getting chlamydia and all of these other
that's not
sexually
the
transmitted
same.
diseases.
That's not the same argument.
Also, that is the same argument. Also, since the woman is sleeping
How?
around so much, it makes it harder for her to pair bond because she's sleeping around
That's
with
not
all of
true.
these
That's
men.
not true. That's not. How do
This
you know?
is
You're not a
true.
woman, so how do you know? You're not a
This is
woman, so how
true.
would you know? No, you're
It's,
not a
you want
woman,
me
so
to
how
pull
would
up? You
you
want me
also
to
know?
pull
not
up
the
the study
goal.
on
You're
it?
not a woman. How
It's
would
That's
you
not the
know?
goal.
You,
When you're
It's
having
observable.
Well,
I wanna go back to some of the stuff that he has said, that back in the days, the prostitution is the oldest profession on this planet. It has
yeah, them chicks
always
ain't get married.
existed. Hang on, let me
They ain't
speak.
get married. They were
Let me
shamed.
speak. You guys used to have concubines. Don't forget, okay?
They
Taking
was in
women
another area.
just out of
What?
concubines. Let's go. So this has always existed. The thing that you're thinking that today, this whole sexual liberty and all this is out there.
That's
Men
not my
have
claim.
always used their power. Men have always went and slept with multiple women. But because as soon as women do that, because in their brain, they think only men need sex. Why would women need sex? And they want inexperienced women. So a woman that hasn't experienced, she's going to put up with somebody that's lousy in bed because she doesn't know any better, because they're lousy in bed and their insecurities. They want somebody that is inexperienced, because the experienced person, like he was saying, is going to have a hard time committing to that one person, which
But
is also
Mahleej, that's not my
true.
argument.
Which is also not true.
That's
No,
not my
that was your
argument.
argument, that you
No,
will
that's
kill the
not my
supply
argument.
or the demand. The
No,
supply
that's not
has
my
always been
argument.
there because the demand has
Stop it.
always been there.
Stop it. That's not my argument, right? Men aren't demanding for their daughters to be whores. What father is like, oh yeah, I want my daughter to be a slur and a prostitute herself.
Yeah.
No, we built these first world countries and stuff like that to protect our daughters. All women always had rights in America because fathers want to protect their daughter. So you're just lying. You're making up stuff. And my claim and my argument is not for a man to be promiscuous and women to be promiscuous. No, I just think that women hold access to sex. And guess what? The only reason why they hold access to sex is because men protect and give them that. They give them that. If not, if men wasn't protecting them, rape will be prevalent. Rape will be legal. Oh yeah. Oh, guess what? You can just go rape that girl. But no, we built a society that we have strict laws and rape is illegal. It's illegal.
When
I
did
wanna
that
give-
also
happen?
rape men
I
as
wanna
well.
give-
I don't know why you're making it gendered. I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna give you
James,
guys.
all you.
No, I'll give you the last word, Amy and Mahleej, and then we got to go to the next one.
No, when did we make that illegal? Rape was very legal. Like, people were raping women. We had to make laws because we had to stop men from doing that. And I
You're
think
pointing- you're
prostitution is
proving
there.
the point.
Again, why do you interrupt? Like, you have an issue or something?
No,
Like,
you're proving the point.
answering.
You're not refuting the
No.
point. You're proving the point.
Okay, whatever I'm saying, let me talk, right? Let me talk. I let you talk and I hear. Now, what you do is you break my thought process, what I'm going to say. And that's a good technique that you keep doing, throwing it at me. What I'm saying, that we didn't need laws.
It's
If
not
there
a
was no
technique.
rapes going on, then we wouldn't need any laws, right? Now we have laws and we still have rapes going on. Actually, prostitution is good because some of these men that would probably rape women will go to women so they can have their needs met. Do you understand that? No. Okay.
Is crack good? Crack.
Well, what does that have to do with sex? Do men need crack?
Is crack good?
Is
So
it in
you
your
made an
biology
argument.
to
Stop it.
do crack?
I'll let you speak. You made an argument. You said
No,
that,
but don't
well,
give me an apple and oranges comparison here.
no. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
Listen, you said, listen clear. You said that prostitution is good because it would decrease the rate of rape. And I said, well, is crack good? And if crack is good and it can decrease the rate of people becoming crackheads, why don't we make that legal?
that decrease
Is it your inherent need of a man to do crack, or is it a need for a man to go have sex? Do you understand where you're coming from? Your argument is so dumb. You're
You don't
comparing
think that
crack to
people?
something that you said is a meal. He needs it. It's in his DNA.
No,
He
you're not
needs
following.
sex.
You're not following
You
the
don't need
argument
crack.
because
Do
your
you need
argument was
crack?
nonsensical. Listen to what I'm saying, okay?
I
It's
did
very
listen
clear.
to
I'll
you.
repeat it again. You made a claim and you said that prostitution is good. The reason for your claim is because it lowers rape rates, meaning that women aren't going to be raped as much if prostitution is legal. That's what you said, right? I
Yes.
made an analogy to crack. So my question for you is, if we make crack legal, will that decrease the rate of crackheads, or do you think that there will be more crackheads?
I was answering to you where you said, "Oh man,
Answer
needs
my
the
question.
sex."
Don't
Hang
answer
on,
my
you said
question.
a
Can I
man
respond
Answer my
after?
question.
sex. It is in his biology. Is it in your
Answer my
biology to
question.
go get crack?
Answer my
Your analogy
question.
is totally dumb. It doesn't. It's
No,
not. It
it's
doesn't
not
equate.
wrong. You're
It is.
incorrect is because
It is.
people have an addiction
You can't
towards
compare
crack.
something
What are
that
you
you
speaking about?
biologically want. A man biologically wants sex. That's what you said, right?
You don't think
It's
that
in it.
crackheads, from their biology, want
Oh.
more crack because they are a fiend addict? You don't think that that's the case? What are you speaking about? Answer the question.
They can
Please answer the
control.
question. Don't obfuscate.
no.
Answer the question real quick. James, please, I want her to get an answer to this question.
I'll give you
So-
a chance
Dumb
to respond,
argument.
Mahleej,
Real
and then
quick.
we got to go to the next question.
I'll repeat it back. I'll repeat it again
Dumb
real quick.
argument.
So
Can I respond to
if crack
it?
is, if crack, would you make crack legal if it decreased? No. Do you think if crack was legal that we would have less crackheads?
Are you born? Are you born as a man wanting
Yes or
crack
no?
all the time? Do
Yes
you
or
wake
no?
up in
You
the
can't answer the
morning
question.
and
So
you're like,
therefore,
"Oh,
your
I
argument
want
was
crack."
stupid.
We
Oh, we
might
need
wanna
No,
go to
because you
the
prostitution
wake
to
next
be
up with a
legal, so
hard
therefore
on.
it
A
would
hard on
decrease
is something
rape
you
rates.
biologically
No.
get.
You're
Okay,
dumb.
Might have
crack
to
is
go to the
not
next
that you're
one.
fiending as a man. What are you
Okay.
talking about?
Prostitution
Can I make
decreased
one
rape
point
rates.
real quickly?
I
on
hate
that?
to
my
do
God, and
this,
they talk
but
about logic.
we got to go to the next one. We've just spent way too much time on this. Nazir says, "Why do women want equality after men made the world easy and modern? Now that there are all these desk jobs and etc." They say y'all didn't protest and fight to go to war and farm the land before the 20th century.
Sure. I would say this is talking about what I talked about a little bit in my opening, which is there may be systemic problems on the men's side which need to be addressed. And so, the example I gave, which is divorce. Divorce may unequally favor women in the current system that we have. I think that that's something we could reinterpret and handle within an egalitarian system. The answer isn't, all right, well, now we're going to send men and women to die in wars. I would actually prefer it if we say, well, now we're going to be way more selective in the wars that we choose, and we're not going to be sending these men to deaths for rich people. And so it is trying to handle the issues that you're bringing up while also trying to handle the issues that women go through, because honestly, that's what we're trying to do, is be equal under the law.
This one coming in from Nazir says, okay, that's weird. Emperor Fat Ass Dog says, "Mahleej, you may have migrated here, but it's a fact that Christians conquered and won this land, so therefore it belongs to us." Emperor Fat Ass Dogs also says, "Mahleej, if you believe you live on stolen land, then why not leave?"
I will when you ask me to leave. Right now, I haven't been asked. So when the day comes that I'm asked to leave because of my color or whatever the case is, then I will. And when I came here, I thought I came here to a secular country where everybody is allowed to follow their own beliefs. Because, the biggest thing is not religion, freedom of religion. It is freedom from religion too. That's the Constitution. That's what I follow of the country.
And can I just say that we were not founded as a Christian country. We were founded as a secular country with a secular constitution from a bunch of deistic founders. It is true that there is a Protestant majority that fled Europe because of being victims themselves. However, they're not the ones who wrote the Constitution. You can be any religion here or none thereof. That is the great thing of our Constitution.
I just want to make one thing clear. The only reason why I bring in religion, because I don't talk about Christianity. I don't have a problem with Christianity. I think Christianity was one of the first religions that did become secular, that did, reform themselves. Right. And I've always given the examples of Christianity, how they have reformed in women's rights and equal, gay rights and all that stuff. So I'm all for these countries that's why I'm here. I give them as an example. So it's not like I'm shitting on it, but when it comes to the idea of God and belief and feelings and other things, then I have other kinds of questions. It's not that I'm trying to mock your religion or coming after your religion or disrespecting it. It's just the whole concept of God and God being a male, and then all the orders are coming for female. That just doesn't click with me. So that's where I question that. So I don't know why people think that I'm hating on Christians, even though I'm in a Christian secular country.
Yeah, Christianity is not for LGBTQ plus. God makes a clear give clear commandments that bestiality, homosexuality, and all of that stuff is immoral and not good.
Mixed
so I don't know what you're
fabrics.
speaking about.
That's Judaism.
This one
Well, I mean, that's also where it says not to be gay is from the Old Testament.
Jesus brought forth the 10 Commandments. He made that clear.
So Judaism.
It's
We're gonna go to the
Christianity if
next
Jesus
Christianity
brings
man.
it in.
That's
This
funny.
Jesus Christ.
Same thing.
Christianity.
No, it
You know,
isn't. Don't tell me what my religion is, okay? Don't do that.
Say,
Okay.
You want you to be empathetic, but I'm just
Sure,
pointing
but
out that you're really not, though, are you?
I kind of am. Your book says kind of murder us with stones, but I mean, you guys can just insult pronouns.
That's
I mean,
Judaism. That's
it's
Judaism.
the Old Testament. You should read the
we're
first
gonna jump
half
to
of
the
your
next
book.
one.
The
This
Old
one,
Testament is Judaism.
This is an
Adam and
important
Eve.
one. This
Mhm.
one is
Christianity.
Sorry,
Nazir.
James.
Nazir says, Amy, do you think No Fugazi is handsome? Wow. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. Burnham says if Amy follows says if Amy follows the roles and duties of the hierarchy of women, parentheses, Dave's words for God as father, does that satisfy the criteria?
What?
Was that a question for me or them?
I'll read it one more time because I don't know. They say if Amy follows the roles and duties of the hierarchy of woman, of Dave's words for God as father, in parentheses, does that satisfy the criteria?
No, because it's bearing false witness. It's a lie.
This one from In Their Shoes says, Mahleej, the Bible also says, sorry if you become the reason for someone's downfall. So it's a two-way sword. Your temptations card is Uno reverse.
What was that again?
I haven't played Uno for a long time.
Temptation.
They say, Mahleej, the Bible also says, sorry if you become the reason for someone's downfall. In other words, like, it's bad if you become the reason for someone else's downfall. So, like, let's say David was flaunting his handsomeness and walking around tempting people. The Bible would say, hey, like, that's wrong on David. So
yeah, that's not true, because if that was true, they would have put the end to prostitution. There would be no concubines. There would be no sex allowed. No, there was still going on free for all. Okay, it's men have always wanted sex. Yes, women have controlled, and they know the key to they know they hold the key. So men have always done.
Key?
It's not that men haven't gone, and gotten concubines, one wife, second wife, third wife. We've seen this in the history. So,
well, which key?
You guys should control yourself.
But which key do men hold? Figuratively speaking, of course. You mean like men hold the key to
No,
sex?
women hold the key, like he was saying, to sex, right?
Okay.
Right? He was saying that, yeah. So many women have known that and they have used it to their advantage, right? Hence, a lot of men's downfall. So you should really control your temptation.
That's
Juicy.
true. We do. That is one way that we can really hurt men. And yeah, but it's absolutely right. We have to be responsible for that, just like they need to be responsible for, their urges. And as far as concubines, prostitution, whatever, adultery's always been wrong.
The
There are
truth
examples
is,
of sin, but it's always been wrong.
yeah, it's always been wrong. Adultery has always been wrong. And the truth is, women only have the key because men allowed them to have the key because we put strict laws, rules, and regulations that grape is bad and illegal,
Right.
right? If men didn't make that law, then women wouldn't have the key because they are the weaker vessel. Men would just take sex from, oh, I see a woman, I see sex today. That's how it
Right.
would be. So
The fact that we can say no
gotta
is
be
just
gracious
a
to men.
proof of y'all's good nature to protect us and want the best for us. And that's why, like, oh, we didn't have the vote. Well, the people who loved us and wanted the best for us did. And they didn't operate in feelings as much as we do. So I think that's a better way. And I know that gives me, people will
Actually,
hate me
it's
for that. But I think that
70% of women that are abused or sexually abused are actually from their partners or people that they know. It's not strangers, it's the men in their family. If you go
Of
and look at the
course.
stats, that's 70% of physical abuse, sexual abuse, everything for little girls to older women. It's coming from family members like the uncles, the brother or
or the
husband.
stepdads that the single moms are bringing through the house.
I don't know. Andrew Wilson would know about that. He's a stepdad. So
that was a low
so
blow and he's not here.
Your
he is
argument
a
does not.
stepdad.
He is, but that was a low blow.
But
And
you're the one that's calling all these stepdad rapists here.
I didn't say that. I know the
He is a
statistic.
stepdad. Yeah, you just did. Yeah.
There's a statistic that shows that.
No,
the children who get hurt are primarily.
Where is that? I said it's the people that are men that are in their lives. Again, it's the men doing it. Even if it is stepman, it's the men doing it. How is that women's fault?
Anybody who's harmed is usually by somebody in their life, regardless of which way it goes. And if we're being,
that means your point that men in our lives are protecting us.
Can I finish?
70% of men are not, right?
Can I finish?
70% of the time, it's the man in your life is the one that you should be scared of.
Right, because women have said, I don't need no man to protect me. So we go out and we choose the loser and the felon because we can't pick for crap. And then we go, oh my God, I've been abused. It's like, yeah, because you picked a terrible one. There are a lot of, there are some bad men. The good men protect us from that. But we said to the good men, we don't need you. We don't need you.
Their dad is a felon. She went and picked up her dad or her brother who's a felon. Is that what you're saying?
What are you talking about? I am saying that if you are married and it's your partner,
her statistic is wrong. Your statistic is
I know
wrong.
her stats wrong, but there's no point.
No, it's not wrong. No, it's not wrong.
It is. The way you're trying to make an argument for it, it doesn't, the correlation does not equals causation. You're saying that, well, men are the cause of these things, and you're trying to correlate this stat to say that, well, it's 70% of violence that happens is by the hands of men or by the hands of like women that get physically abused is by men around them. Well, that's nonsensical because when we look at same-sex relationships, it's even at a higher rate. You get what I'm saying? So it's women abusing other women. So because they're around those other women, but guess what? But listen. But guess what? The distinction is this: when it's lesbian couples, they do it at a higher rate than heterosexual couples. That's the distinction. You just saying, well, if you're around a man, then of course you're gonna, it's 70%. Well, yeah, everybody is around everybody.
Right.
Like, you're just making a stat.
No, it's your immediate family members. It's the immediate family members. Okay, go look at that. And if you say about the lesbian couples, lesbians are raping each other.
They're fighting each other.
Okay, I'll give you an example.
fighting, like hitting,
Fighting, right?
punching.
So
Abusing.
fighting is different and raping is different. However, when we're talking about the men in the family, they are raping, they're molesting, they're beating to a point that they're actually killing them, right? So unaliving women. So there you go.
I think we went back to Pakistan.
7% of people. And you were saying it's just stepdad because we go and pick a felon and we bring
No,
them
I
home.
said that was a great
What
example
about
of
the
it.
father? We didn't pick the father, you know?
I think it's a great example of how you're going to blame men for everything. And I'm saying, hey, the women are letting a lot of these sketchy characters around their kids, and a lot of kids are getting harmed from it.
And
And-
how
Yeah,
do
and-
we know that they're sketchy from the day one? Because nobody is gonna come out and from the day one be like, "Oh yeah, I'm the crazy one."
Well, you don't know because you're a woman.
You
This is why you
barely
need a
know
man.
them,
You
right?
don't know because
Nobody
you're a
says that the
woman.
first
You
day.
lack discernment. You need your
Right.
father. This is why it happens.
Yes.
Women don't know. They don't have the ability to discern and choose a man because they're not a man. Men, fathers, we're looking out for the best interest for
Why
our
do-
daughters.
Why
So
are we like
therefore,
so? Why
I'll
are
tell
we
you- I'll
so
tell you
bad?
why.
Because we don't have a
I'll
good
tell you
choice.
why.
All men are bad, right? So we have to go
No.
and pick and choose. We need somebody else to come pick and choose because men, God
How are
forbid,
all
they
men bad?
make themselves better.
How are all men bad? How are you going to say
Because you're
all
just
men
saying
are
every time
bad?
I give you an example, you're like, oh, and she said, oh, because she's bringing a bad man home. How are we going to know? If you go out on a date, first day with a man,
Okay.
do you
Yeah.
know if that person has a police record? He's an abuser? You don't, right?
No, and guess
Yeah,
what?
exactly.
My father would be able to look at him and size him up real quick. It's just like how women, we know
But you-
each other. When we,
Feelings.
just give me a second. When a woman looks at a woman, we kind of size them up and we know what we're about because women know other women. Well, men know other men and they're instinctively protective of us. So they're going to size them up way faster than we can. And we are, as y'all have demonstrated, so much about the feelings, and the men are about the logic and the facts. And so the men used to guard.
It's just funny
and say,
because Ted Bundy was a very big charmer, but none of these women could tell that he was a serial killer or the partners that
You're
he met
making
and
our
introduced
point.
to their
You're
family.
making my
Nobody
Yeah,
could
you're
tell that
making
he
a
was a
point.
serial killer, right?
Yeah,
You
you're
accidentally made my
making the
point.
point that women are attracted to dark triad traits within men. Psychologists know about this too, where especially younger women in their immature stages, they're attracted to the bad boys. Oh, I want a bad boy, right? The type of man that displays characteristic traits of being indecisive, non-compliant, having lacking the ability to respect authority figures and things like that. That's what
Right.
women tend to like, especially immature women. This is why they need their fathers around to help in the mate selection process.
That's right.
Because fathers can see right off the bat, oh, look how the way he's speaking and the way he's carrying himself, he's inadequate to a degree.
And figure it out.
He's lacking in masculinity traits. It's so many different things that women can't read, but another man can read.
Mhm.
So
And
I
that
just
hurts
wanted-
marriage.
So these are feelings and intuitions. Again, we are getting something that is more subjective and less subjective. I
It's
do want to
more
rebut
instinct.
something. Exactly, intuition, feelings.
Instinct.
But listen, it still adheres to one sex, which would be the man. The father has the better instincts for the daughters, not the
I think
mother.
Sometimes the mother can also have gut feelings. and say, this guy-
It's not 100%.
You have
There's many
studies
people
for-
that have been married
Uh-huh.
and then their husbands go on and kill them after 10,
No,
15
it
years.
still
Do you know?
adheres.
Do you know that case that happened in was it in France where this gentleman had his wife of I don't know 30, 40 years and was getting guys to come and he would sedate her, he would drug her, and they would come and rape her every single night. And there was a group of 10,000 guys, none of them reported. Okay, this man, I'm pretty sure she went to the father, everything happened. 30 to 40 years later, this man was doing that to her. So
Oh my
you
God,
can't
it
tell
happened
that,
once.
all of a sudden, you're going to see a person and we're going to know, oh, he's a nice person. You never know what the other person is going to be like 20 years down the road.
You don't
Mahleej.
know.
Serial killers had families. They didn't even know that they were serial killers. Do you
Hey,
understand?
Mahleej, what about women? Stats also show that women are more likely to abuse the elderly. They're more likely to abuse children.
Mhm.
These are
Where is
stats
that?
out there.
Where is that? Where?
I can pull it up if you can
Maybe you
actually
should
just
pull
Google
it
it.
up
If you
because
just
I
No.
if
find
you
my
just type
men
it in,
here
it comes right up.
throwing numbers and they have no stats. If
I
that
don't
was
know.
the
When women are in
women
charge
wouldn't
of
be
the
more
elderly and
nurses, women
children,
wouldn't be in
One.
childcare if that was the case, okay? And you wouldn't prefer,
no,
you would
you're
prefer your kids around a woman than a
You're
man.
incorrect.
Don't lie.
No.
No,
Okay?
no,
Prefer
No.
your elderly
no, you're
kids around
incorrect.
women than a man because you don't want a man nurse. Because God forbid a man is a nurse because, you know, oh my God, he's
Must
in a
go to
simp
the
man.
Must go to the
Right.
next question. This one from Bless My Vibe Code says, "Yeah, Mahleej, after we built the Western world and made everything easy, you come here and still, all caps, talk about how bad we are. Was Pakistan better?"
Of course not. That's why I'm here. You're just taking it so personally. Like I told you, I can criticize an ideology because your whole system is not based on ideology. Is all your laws built on Catholic views? Like if that was the case, then there will be no rights for the gays and the lesbians or us, right? If we go back to following like Afghanistan is, where Sharia law and every law has Islam in it, if you want to go that way, the day Canada goes that way, that every law is going to have church interfere in it, that's the day that I leave. Because of course I know that my rights are going to be infringed on. Any gay, lesbians, any LGBTQ, their rights are going to be, infringed on. But my question to you is, why do you want to become like Afghanistan? I mean, you guys have a beautiful society now. Why do you guys want to become those countries? I left those countries because they were shit.
We don't
they
do
had no
female
rights.
circumcision. We don't do concubines. We don't do any of that stuff.
Not
And also,
anymore.
if
Not
Yeah,
anymore.
also, you
but
can't
in
sleep with your
African
cousin.
countries, you do. In African
Sleeping with your
countries,
cousin,
you do
we don't do
female
that.
genital
no, I don't.
mutilation.
No,
You
we
hear
don't.
us, Rudy
Yes, you
Giuliani?
do.
We will go to the next.
No, that's not Christendom. That
Yes,
is
you
not
do.
the
I can
law.
pull it up right now and show you in African Christian
So
countries too.
what
They
you're
do
saying
female
is they're
genital
sinning,
mutilation.
and it's the effect of Islam because it's so prevalent over
Whatever
there, and
it is
it's
the
growing.
effect of, the fact is that they're still happening. It's still happening, right? I don't care if it is from Islam or not. You know, Christianity came first. So most of the things that has been copied in Islam, you would be so surprised. Islam, the book of Quran is copied, ditto copy from other two Abrahamic religions. It's just, Xerox copies from one
Yeah,
to
no,
the
it's
next
not
to
the
the next.
same. It's not the
It's a
same.
lot
So
of
your
things are
claim is
similar. A lot
wrong.
of your stories
No, a
are
lot
in
of
there.
things is no,
Lot
not
of
at
things.
all. No, we
You have
have
no
a
idea.
totally different God.
You
You're
are
wrong.
against
Different.
women getting higher education. They don't want, what do Taliban want? They don't want women to have education. You want women to get pregnant and start making babies. Taliban want the same thing. They want the same thing. They don't want you going to school. You want us to obey the husband. They say the
you're
same thing.
incorrect.
You
You're
better
just
obey
making
your husband.
claims.
Muslim men will say the same
Here it
thing what
is.
you're saying right now to me. Daniel Hakikachu made the same arguments as you. Right?
No,
So there's
it's not
no
the
difference
same.
when it
It
comes
is
to
not
Not
the
at
same.
all.
or the Islamic men. It's the same
It's not
thing.
the same at all. No,
It
it's not the
is.
same.
You just said that. You don't want women higher
Islamic is.
education.
What are you speaking about? In
Yeah,
your
no one said
in
Just
your
say that
religion,
women
they
are
don't care.
wasting their
Stop
20s
it.
getting
Listen.
educated
Stop it.
and
You're
focusing
still
on something
speaking.
else rather than having
You're
kids.
still
Did you not
speaking,
say that?
but you're not
Did you
making
not
any
say that?
sense.
This
Did you
In
not
Islam,
say
they are
that
okay.
women are wasting their 20s getting education?
Yes.
rather than
Stop it.
focusing on having kids, right?
Yeah, they are
That is
wasting their
not
20s.
correlating
Because
to
you know why?
anything.
You know why, Mahleej? Because we're better than that. We're better than
That's-
higher education.
No, you're not. That's
How
what
dare you say?
You want me to get beaten up and put up with it. You are like the worst. Believe me.
I never
You
said
all
that.
in the beginning. Oh yeah, if you're getting
I had
beaten
never
up,
said
Mahleej,
that.
oh my
if
God,
you want to
your
get beaten
feelings.
up,
you better stay up
listen,
there.
men grant all rights.
never said
Men
that.
grant all rights that you have. So we can grant
No, they
rights
don't.
and we can take rights. So you're speaking
so
about,
they-
oh,
like
well, I'm in this
Taliban,
country.
like
Listen, you're in
Taliban.
Canada right now. Stop it. You're in Canada right now. If men collectively get together in Canada and say, hey, what? You got no more rights. And guess what? You're going to be forced into sex camps. You got no choice. So what are you
Exactly,
speaking
like
about? It's
Taliban.
not a
fight.
Men
topic.
here start
Just-
acting
so
like
listen.
Taliban when men
So-
here start acting like
You just
Taliban
going
and
on.
putting
You
us
don't-
into sex camps,
You literally
that's
don't
the day I
listen.
leave Canada. If that's what's gonna happen, I'm going to leave, because who wants to live in a Taliban
You don't
country
have
like
to leave though. You can fight. You can fight for
No,
your
you
rights.
can go into
Yes.
the sex camp. I will leave.
no,
Thank
can
you.
I just
No.
point
You
out,
don't
there's
have to.
nothing.
Mahleej, did your
Guys.
father have sex with his cousin? Because you got low IQ. You cannot follow a conversation at all.
Oh wow, you're gonna bring up the cousin marriage? Bust your
Did he?
bubbles.
Did your father have sex with his cousin?
No, nobody in my family is cousin marriage, because I come from a very
You
mixed
sure?
religious background.
Well,
should
you
have
are
done
showing
that.
the IQ of cousin
No.
marriage.
But isn't it
I
true?
can say the same thing of a person that believes in the imaginary God has a
Isn't-
lower
No,
IQ.
we don't have sex with our cousins
A
in
guy
Christianity.
that is comparing
Right.
sex
All
to
right,
crack.
Depending
What
on
kind
the
of IQ level
stories.
This
you?
is we probably a good
What do you
chance
have?
we can redirect. Jim Smith, thanks for your question, said, for David, why are most mass shooters male and not female?
Okay, good question. Why are most mass shooters male and not female? So as far as mass shootings, if he's speaking about like what type of, how is he categorizing? I would need more. It's just a question. So I guess I'll answer it generally. I would say that, well, men have a higher propensity for physical violence than women do. This is a clear biological distinction. Physical aggression, men tend to express at higher rates, but women express aggression as well, but they do it in different ways, like innuendo, character destruction, gossip, and things like that. So it's not to say that men are just overall more aggressive than women. They just act it out differently.
This one coming in from Dell says, David, when is your next debate night, brother?
We're gonna do that Wednesday.
Wow. Check it out, folks. David is linked in the description box. If you love debates, which you must, if you're watching here at Modern Day Debate, you can find that debate at David's link. And you can also find all of our other guests linked in the description box. Erin has a channel called Far From Eden, first time on the show. And you've seen Amy on here before. Amy has a link in the description box as well. And Mahleej has her X account linked in the description box. So check all of those links out. This next question coming in from the Brandalorian says,
go.
Eden is right, a.k.a. Erin. Every woman I tried to be a gentleman with always left me for the abusive bad boys. Is this
Well-
true?
We need a better, non-toxic version of masculinity. I think that you could be kind and strong and brave without being degrading to women.
But they're saying that doesn't work.
Right.
Well, then we need to really change society. I do believe that there is unfortunately, a
Hey,
problem
James, I'm running to
right
the bathroom.
now
I'll be right back.
Okay.
where we are, unfortunately, it does feel like we have this vacuum for young men who don't have great role models right now. I think that we're going to need different men to stand up and fill that void, because unfortunately, when it's just a vacuum, you have these individuals who just put forward methods of power and manipulation and ways in seem less about masculinity to me and more about control. And so, again, there's nothing wrong with a strong, dominant male. What I'm looking for is empathetic human beings, whether they are male and female, who can work together to overcome not just situations, but be a stronger relationship.
We had them, and feminism said we don't need them.
See, I think there is maybe either a stereotype, or maybe there was one or two that you could. It's the internet, so if you make it large enough, you're always gonna find toxic people that are like, someone who truly is saying men suck and we should just throw them aside. I do believe that what we're trying to put forward is that we are equals under the law. I would even say you don't even say, to be respectful to your religion, I'd say you don't even have to say that we are, the same under God's eyes. But when it comes to legal things, I think that we should treat people legally, fairly, egalitarianistically the same.
All right. This one coming in from In Their Shoes says Mahleej is reading Islam into Christianity. It's obviously the reason for her heavy focus on abusive point against Christian opponents. Blind faith.
No, it's because actually we do a lot of spaces, we do a lot of programs on this, and then the fact that we find so many similarities, even the hymns from Christians that have been copied into Islam. Now, like I said, Christianity has been it's a new form of Christianity. It's not what you guys followed back then. So you guys have reformed. A lot of those things you guys don't follow it anymore, right? Like they're like, oh no, we don't do that, we don't do this. But starting with the basic, if you go to Adam and Eve, I mean, how did we all procreate after that? There was Adam and Eve. There was only one couple. How did we all come into life? He was saying that, oh, I must have married my cousin, right? That's like, oh my God, I'm going to take that shot because she's from Pakistan, not knowing that I have a very, very diverse religious background that I come from in my family. But starting with your point, Adam and Eve, they had kids, and then those kids got married, brother and sisters got married, and you're coming from the incests. You know what I mean?
Stop it. It's not a prescription for, and there's no prescription for incest in biblical scriptures. When you're looking at biblical scriptures, it's the fall of man. After the fall of man, we're all within sin, and God is giving new revelation over time to humankind. So you saying that, oh, well,
God changed his morality. We'll talk about morality at that time.
No, God never changed his morality. No, okay. God did not change his morality. God give revelation over time. So let's, for an example, if you have,
first, it was okay to have sex with your sister. You have a child. Then he said, no, today it's not okay to have sex with your sister.
No, do you have a child? You have a child, okay? I think you do. You're a single mom, so you do have a child. Now, when your child was young, did you give your child all of moral law when your child was 1 year old or whenever they can understand? Or did you give moral prescription over time when they can understand? So when your child was 2 years old, did you say, well, yeah, you shouldn't grape anybody? Your child's gonna be grape? What is that? What do you mean? Right? So no, you would tell your child, you would give moral law to your child as your child matures. And what God did, God gave revelation to humankind as we matured spiritually. There's a difference.
Why couldn't God make two couples and then have them have kids and then they would have kids? No, first he made brother and sister have sex and then he decided what is the comparison? What is an example he's going to give me?
Did I teach my 2-year-old? Hang on a second,
let me answer. A 2-year-old,
after the fall.
Listen, you're not going to shut me up. Let me finish, okay? No, you keep over talking me because you think your point is going to get across.
The Bible.
No,
you're wrong.
I will teach my 2-year-old child not to hit anyone, okay? Not to put her hands on somebody because little kids mean to do that, right? They'll go slap whoever. At the same age, at 20, 30, I will tell them the same thing. Don't hit people. Your God keeps changing, right? His morality was at that time to have sex with your
2-year-old?
And later on, he changed it.
Would you tell your 2-year-old about incest?
2-year-olds don't understand anything. If they could,
okay, that's my point. That's my argument. You are slow. After the fall of man, you don't know anything.
A 2-year-old to a god? Are you comparing a 2-year-old to a god?
No, God's not two. We are.
You don't have the IQ.
Sorry.
To follow, you don't have the IQ to follow my argument. So
are you comparing a 2-year-old to a god?
No.
Seriously?
No.
But can I ask, would you put a tree in your house and then if your child ate from the tree, would you throw them out of the house? Even if you told them not to, would you throw them out of the house?
That's a good question. So God gave us free will. So the reason why God gave us free will is because God loves us. God is good. God is love. And if you don't love someone, you will restrict all of you would not give, they'll be a robot, right? Since we are beings of free will, God gave us a choice to obey him or disobey him because one, that's the only way he can experience love. God can experience love if we're robots and he controls everything. Right. So with that being said, God didn't make Adam and Eve bite from the apple. That is not true. Adam and Eve chose to disobey God and eat from the apple. That's why the fall happened.
Can I point out that that's not answering the question?
That answered
I'll
the
ask
question.
it again. Would you put a tree of fruit in your house, and then if your child ate the fruit, would you
Yeah.
throw them out of the house even if you told them not to?
It's not the
Yeah.
fruit, it's what the fruit represents.
Him being a
You're
bad
making
father?
false, it's not, it doesn't track. The fruit is representative of the
Knowledge.
knowledge and being like God
So
and
you're
not
saying
needing him.
I shouldn't say, so you're saying the Bible's saying that they threw children out who had no knowledge of good and evil.
Underdeveloped people spiritually because they were not thrown out yet. You're taking what David is saying and you're applying it to within the garden. And he's talking about after the fall.
Sure. Well,
And
I mean,
you
after
guys
the
don't
fall,
understand. It's
You don't
really
understand
hard
it.
to have
after
a
the
Christian
fall,
discussion
it's all
because y'all
incest.
don't get it.
He was making excuses. No, I get
You
it.
can't do an
After the
internal
fall,
critique
you
if you
get
don't understand the
incest.
worldview.
Sure, but we get the worldview. After
No,
the
you
fall,
don't. You don't understand the worldview.
Can I just so
You've
after
done
the
it all.
fall
You
there
hate
was
it,
incest.
but you don't get it.
I don't want to.
Well, I don't hate it because it didn't happen. Just
I
like the
don't-
slaves in
I don't
Egypt
want
didn't
to.
happen.
I don't
But
want to go
this whole
too
free
off
will
topic.
argument, God is all knowing. So again, this whole free will argument is going to go again in circles because
All knowing does not mean all
God is
causing.
all
All knowing
knowing
does
as
I
not
well.
have
mean
to-
all causing. All
Just to be
knowing does
sure,
not mean all
I can
causing.
I
see
do
it,
want to
James.
get
So
you
it's
all out of
all-
here at a decent time. So I do want to jump to these new questions. This one from Nazir, another love letter for you, Mahleej. They say, why can't Mahleej answer simple questions without obfuscating and assertions with no evidence? When's your wedding to yourself, Mahleej?
You missed it. I'm sorry. I didn't. Yeah. Why are they so worried about my marriage? Anyways, see, every time I asked him a question, he never answered. He just kept interrupting. Every time I asked him a question, he never answered. So
I answered all
think
your
I answered
questions.
most of the questions. No, you did not. You just
All of them.
talked over me.
Yeah, this one from Kyle 2020 says, Mahleej, Islam is taking over the West precisely because your ideology shames women from getting pregnant. You're going right back where you started.
What my ideology shames women for having kids? No, actually, it's wherever education, wherever in whichever country women are starting to get educated, even in Pakistan, the birth rate is declining. It's not the same as it was before. Even in India, it is declining. The only place it's not declining is in Africa. And if you're talking about the whole thing that they want to bring the Islam here, yes, that's why I have my haram shirt here. Nobody's a bigger critic of Islam than me. So yeah.
Oh, I don't
No,
know.
it has,
You got
feminism
on
has
me.
nothing to do with that.
You got on me for being concerned about people coming into a country and tried to insinuate that I'm sort of
I
hateful and
didn't
racist.
say that. You
but-
were right away. You were like, "Oh, in Pakistan, did you?" Like you tried to throw that Pakistan card, like, "Oh my God," like something.
Did you notice
know,
it's the chat too? Because you hate men
That's
so much
okay.
because
They
of
have
where
to bring
you
in
came
something,
from.
right? They have to bring in something, and they have to bring that I'm from Pakistan, so they have to show their whatever. I don't like to use this word, but racism. But I'm, but that's
being
just what it
racist.
shows.
You're
I
actually
totally
being
get it
racist.
that-
I'll explain to you how.
I'm
You
being racist?
are, yes, because you are projecting the behaviors and the mentality of the Muslim men that you are aware of from Pakistan, and you are projecting
Oh.
that onto Christian men. And you are wrong. And the chat
No.
knows you're wrong.
No, if that was the case, there would be no murder of women
point.
in Western countries. There would be no rapes of women in Western countries from Catholic men. Okay, tell me, is
What?
there any Catholic men
Do
doing
you think that
anything
you can
wrong
get rid
in
of
Western
all
countries?
Yeah.
all
Hang on.
badness?
Hang
Do you
on,
think
hang
that you
on.
can get rid of all
Hang on,
badness?
she said that I am saying because I'm portraying all the bad men from Pakistan, but I'm asking her, is there not Christian men committing crime in these Christian countries? Or nobody's
Yes.
doing it? It's all
There
Muslims.
are, listen,
So
there are,
those are the men I'm talking about.
you want me to
not the
answer?
men back home. No, because you're going wrong. You keep saying that. This is the second time you said it. You're comparing them to, no, I'm comparing
I'll be
your
right back.
ideology. The fact that he said women shouldn't study, they should focus on having kids when they're younger. These are the arguments Muslim men use too against us females. Okay, they're
for
the same thing.
different reasons. for different reasons from a different type of worldview.
It's the same reason.
It
No,
really
it's
isn't. And that's
control
exactly what I'm
women.
talking
Reason.
about. You're
Control
projecting
women. That's what they want. Control women.
that is not true. That may be what the Muslim men want. That is not what the Christian men want. And when you say, oh, well, there's no Christian men that do anything bad, of course there are. And as David was about to say, but you won't stop talking, there is no world where there's no more murder and there's no more rape and we all sing kumbaya.
No, but you're the one that keeps saying that me pointing that out for some reason, just because I'm from Pakistan, you're so racist. Just because I'm from Pakistan, I must be saying it because I've experienced that with Pakistani men. Because God forbid, Christian men are not committing any crime here in the
I
Western
didn't say
country.
that though.
The fact
That's a
that you
straw
thought,
man.
no, you thought that. You said it.
Did
And then
not.
you also said that the chat is saying that. You just said it 3 times.
Yeah, the
Stop
chat
lying.
is
You're a
saying that
Christian.
you
Lying
are
is a
projecting
sin.
it onto
Don't
Christian
lie.
men.
You're
You
a
are
Christian.
projecting
Don't
a
lie.
culture that is a Muslim culture, Sharia law and all that, and you're saying that
I
Christianity
am
is
not
the same.
representing Sharia law. I am the biggest opposite.
You don't know how to follow an argument.
That's
That's
not
not what
I
she's
don't bring
saying.
that
Responding
culture
to what
You
I'm
here.
don't
saying.
know how to
I am
follow
not
an
sitting here in a
argument.
niqab here
You might-
arguing with you. Are
this
you out
one-
of your mind?
She
Might
didn't
be
say
a
that.
good
I
opportunity.
didn't say
She
that.
did. She just
No, she
said that.
didn't.
Go listen to the.
This one might be a good opportunity to go to the next one. In
She
their
got whole
shoes,
brain. This is what happens when you're promiscuous and you sleep around a whole lot. You don't know how to think linear.
Oh, maybe. Well, you get
This-
triggered and you get real angry and you can't think. Yeah, it's true.
This one from In Their Shoes says, Mahleej teaching us about Christian history, laugh emoji. Okay, this one from Mahleej, come on, we're happy you're here. You're a good sport. Bless My Vibe Co says, why do I get the sense Mahleej's ex was probably the abused one in the relationship? Poor guy had to put up with a tormenting...
Guess what race he was. Guess what religion he was. Can you take a wild guess? I will give it to the audience. Take a wild guess.
Was
Anybody?
he transgender?
White Christian man. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're doing
Wow.
that thing where you had a bad experience with someone and then you're going to be like, they're
Oh,
all
come
like
on.
that.
Oh, yeah, no, because of the, no, I've been talking about women's rights way before that. But it happens. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay away from Muslim men because they have all these closed-minded thoughts and stuff. So I only dated white guys, wonderful men, some of them that I met. But this one dude, man, I told him to go to Pakistan and he had the same mentality as Mr. Cooley here. So I told him that he should move to Pakistan and accept Islam because he will fit right in there. Or maybe Afghanistan would be better for him. Yeah.
Were you Christian too in that relationship or just him?
No, he was Christian,
And you
but he
weren't.
didn't follow anything about Christianity.
So
I
that
have
means
no
he's
then
not
he wasn't
Christian.
Christian.
Then he wasn't
I-
Christian. Thank
He
you.
was
But
Christian.
he identifies
Christian.
as a Christian.
No,
was a
he
white
doesn't.
man.
If he doesn't act like one, if you will know them by their fruits.
Well, even if it was,
yourself.
right? Apparently, I'm not thinking about those men in Pakistan. Maybe I'm talking about him being here, white guy in a Christian country, right?
But you told to go to Islam.
Yeah, because his ideology was exactly the same. He'll
One
fit
dude.
right in
There's
there.
this one
He
guy,
will.
and you're like, yeah,
got-
he doesn't. he
One
doesn't act
guy,
like a
our whole
Christian.
internet is full of that guy. Look at Cooley. He doesn't
he-
want women to get educated.
What are
He's
you
right
speaking
here
about? You
telling
said
the
that,
same thing.
Mahleej, you said that you were abused. I never abused a woman.
Right?
Excuse me? Who said I
Right.
was abused?
This
I
one
thought
from-
that's what you were claiming,
You
right?
did. You said
You said that
I
your
never said
Christian
that I was
husband
abused.
abused
your
you.
Christian husband
So then
physically
what did he
abused
do?
you.
What did he
Not
do
a
to you then?
husband, boyfriend, not a husband.
Okay.
Okay, what
No,
did
he
he do?
was physical a few times, but that's not where I'm coming from. That's not what I'm saying.
You compared him to
I
me.
am talking your
I don't hit-
argument where you said women are getting higher education and they're not having babies. They should not be getting educated. They should be having kids. That's
Higher education for the
Muslim
most part is
stuff.
a scam.
This one
And it's the
from...
women that are buying it. Like you're getting underwater basket
They
weaving
acquire
degrees
a lot of
between-
Yeah,
debt.
why
It's just
get
not good.
educated? Just
It's
stay
not education,
uncivilized,
it's indoctrination about some
uneducated. Why?
social
'Cause
science,
when the man
whatever.
leaves you, then you can become a prostitute because you can't get any other job because you haven't had any education at that time.
This
I can't
one-
believe as a woman you would advocate. Do you have kids? Are
This
you going to
one-
educate them?
I do
Or-
This
not
one
have
from-
children. I do
Oh,
not have
you don't
children,
even
and I
have
thank
kids. Oh my
feminism
God.
for that.
Are you planning to educate them?
This one from It's Apologetics says, Mahleej, Jesus said, whoever does not do my will is not of me. Anyone who abuses someone is not a Christian. The evidence of Christianity is repentance. I think they're saying, like, do you think that they're still a Christian if they're not following Jesus' teachings?
Well, you don't have to explain that to me. You have to explain it to them. The Christians that
what?
are not following their own thing, don't tell me that. They said that they're Christians.
You
Still, right?
called him a
So-
Christian. You said he was a Christian, but he's not acting like a Christian. So that's why the question came into you. Like, he's not a Christian if he's not
still
following.
identifies as a Christian.
Hey, guess what? Just because you identify as something doesn't make you that thing.
Ask
But your
Amy.
whole point was
Sure.
your whole point
But
was
it's
I'm
a-
only making this up because of Pakistan and those men. That was
I-
your argument.
Right. That's why you're angry.
But it's not.
That's where
No,
the
it's
anger
not.
comes
I'm
from.
talking about the Western men.
But I will say, him declaring that he is Christian makes him a Christian. You saying he's not is a no true Scotsman. And so you can say, he's not acting like a Christian. That doesn't seem very Christian. But again, you can't actually.
No,
know
we
what's in
can
someone's
because
can.
brain.
by Christianity, biblical scriptures, it says that you're not acting like a Christian. You're not a Christian if you're not acting like a Christian. We
Right.
judge you by your fruits and your spirit. And if you're not acting like a Christian, then obviously
Yeah.
you're not a Christian.
Sure,
Right.
So-
but that's a subjective notion. They could say, no, I am actually acting like a Christian, and you're not
No,
acting like
it's
a
not
Christian.
subjective because biblical scripture, the Christianity,
Scotsman
moral
fallacy.
no, stop it because Christian ethics is not subjective, is objective.
Right.
We don't
No.
adhere to our feelings like you adhere to.
Right.
Well, no, that's not true. It's a subjective notion. Your objective
No, that
morality is
isn't true.
subjective. So it comes a lot from Paul. It comes a lot from Judaism.
No, it's not
from
subjective.
Orientarianism.
It's not subjective.
This one
Sure, it's
from
subjective.
Kyle 2020 says, when women don't reproduce, the culture dies. One way or another, you lose, Mahleej. That's my point.
What culture? What do you mean? What culture is going to die? If you're
Feminism,
talking about
the culture you're fighting for.
humankind, the whole everybody dying, I don't think we are. And there's other ways you guys can have babies, and offer. There's a lot of countries they're offering lots of incentives for women to stay home, have 3 babies. They will pay them and all that stuff. So you can do that too. I think you guys should have started that before. But yeah, no, the whole thing of where women were forced into things, that's the only thing that has changed. We just don't want to be forced. If you ask us nicely, kindly, lovingly, women are staying with their partners. Women are having kids, and this whole thing that women are not having kids, it's I don't know, it can be reversed in certain places. We're going towards a robot. I don't even know what you guys are going to do when the
Well, it can
robots
only
are
be reversed if you
there.
get a prescription for it. But in feminism, the ideology does not give a prescription for women to have children. They say, women, you should choose whatever you want to choose, but they don't
Yeah,
give
so-
any duties or any obligations to women
So-
in society. So
This
what he's saying
obligation
is
part, right?
accurate.
The obligation is to be a good, loyal, and law-abiding citizen. That is the duty of everybody that lives in these countries. Okay, you cannot go and force women. Anybody, if you're forcing a woman
No one
who
said
does not want to have
forced.
kids,
You said
I can
prescriptions.
guarantee you she is not going to raise her kids properly because she's being forced to have those kids.
Mahleej, do you think influence is a form of force, but it's not physical force? So what we're saying here is, and like the super chat is saying, well, your ideology, since that ideology doesn't have a prescription to reproduce, if there's no prescription, there's no ought. Women ought to have children. Women ought to have a family. There's no ought claims to reproduction. Since there's no ought claims, what you ran from, Islam, well, guess what? There's ought claims for that. Christianity, there's ought claims for that. In due time, your ideology is out of here. That's what the super chat is saying.
I don't want my
If you
ideology. Which
can't
ideology are you
reproduce-
talking? No. Which ideology are you talking about?
Your
Feminism.
ideology,
Which
feminism.
one? Feminism. Oh,
Feminism.
okay.
Yeah, if you don't
see
have
when it
babies,
is
you
of
die out.
here. Excuse me?
If you don't have babies,
You die
you
out.
die out.
We have an overpopulation
No,
problem.
I
That's
know
not a
that,
No,
that
we
what
don't.
you're talking about, but you can't force people. The feminism doesn't say that don't go have kids. They give you a choice to have kids.
No, they don't.
That's simple.
When you were in school,
Yeah, we do.
and when you're in school and they talk to you about what are you going to be when you grow up? What are you going to be when you grow up? It never for me, and it's just a personal experience, but never for me was one of the choices wife and mother. It was, here's a career, here's a profession, here's a profession. People would come in, you have to choose a profession, you have to choose a college, da 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 da. And there was never a, you could also be a wife and mother. It was never even spoken.
I'd be okay for that.
But
Why
everybody's
not?
not you.
Well, no,
Everybody's not you. Why are you putting everybody in
That's
your
not the
shoes?
point. The
Everybody's
point,
not you.
there's
Some
no
women
I
do want to get
started
educated.
out saying,
Some
I
women
know
like
this is only me.
education. Some women like getting education rather than just, they want to be educated and a mother
But
and a
wouldn't,
wife.
Abandon
wouldn't
your
the
kids.
egalitarian approach be you just have a box for women who say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a scientist, I want to be a mother, but then take it on the guy's side and say, I want to be a scientist, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a father. I mean,
Let me ask you a question,
I
Amy.
hear what you're saying. I think if you take it larger scope, you can still be feminist and yet have the traditional values.
Got it. No, not really. So, Amy, let me ask you a question.
That's myself.
If you give children a box and say, hey, in this box you can eat Skittles, candy, licorice, ice cream, you can have all the snacks you want, and then you give another box and it's like, or you can eat carrots, bananas, chicken, all these healthy foods. Where do you think that what box would most kids choose?
I assume most children are going to choose the more sugar, more carbs.
The more sugar. Okay, so women, right? Women, since they have a different ontology, a different nature than men, they're going, and it's even just human nature. If you give men options too, you want to be lazy and not work and play video games, or to work, men is gonna be like, well, if I can not work and
can I pause you for a second?
Real quick, no, stop. If I can not work and still get the same benefits, then I would. So we're simply saying that just because you give someone choice, that's not necessarily a good thing. Certain choices is not supposed to be given. You wouldn't give your child all of these choices of eating candy. So why would you give a woman all of these choices as well?
Being a father was one of the choices. It wasn't, do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a scientist? Do you want to stay home and play video games? A father, hypothetically, would be them taking the position seriously and doing everything that we would expect. Maybe they'd have a masculine version, but they would be doing the job of a caretaker. It shouldn't be an out. If you're good, I mean, I have no problem with calling lazy people lazy. I just want to have the option for males and females to do, even if it's 75% of the time, the men all choose the more masculine version, and 75% of the time, women choose the more feminine version. I think the ability to have that choice and to make the conscious decision.
But you only want the choices based off of what you presuppose to be good.
I'm going to give David the last word on this, and then we're going to go to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, so Amy, the choices that you want you're coming from your own subjective view because you think that morality is basically subjective. It comes from how you feel and all of this stuff, right? So
50-50.
The things that you believe is good, then that's what you're going to give options for. We're saying that, well, it's clear that candy isn't good for a child, so we should limit candy for children. It's
father and mother.
It's clear, real quick. It's clear that, women in the workforce and chasing a career and higher education and waiting, holding off their years to have a children and family, that's not good. But the thing is, we can't agree on what's good and bad because you don't believe in nothing. You believe in your feelings.
This one
I don't
from
believe
Casual,
in nothing exists.
Got to go to the next one. Casual Crip says, Amy, are the rules of baseball subjective?
The rules of baseball. No, once you define rules, then it is objective. What's subjective is different plays. And do you think that they are good or not? Is it subjective to run? Is it subjective to, tee the ball? But once we actually lay rules, then it becomes a more objective thing.
From Bless My Vibe Code, this is for Mahleej, who turned her camera off because she doesn't want us to see what she's doing over there. Says, sounds like Mahleej's feminism is cope from her past relationship. Instead of being a woman, a man would want to live with. She double downs on rage bait.
It's so funny because a few minutes ago they were saying, "Oh, I'm talking because it's all my experience from Pakistan." Now they're talking is because why don't you guys make up your mind why I'm speaking? Why I'm speaking? Is it because of the Pakistani man? Is it because of my ex? My ex has a lot to do with it too, as well. But mind you, something I was speaking about these topics way before I met that guy too, and he just confirmed it on top. It's funny how this guy would even go out with me because he knew what I was thinking. He just thought I was a challenge and he could break me, but he couldn't. But no, you guys have to make up your mind and decide why I'm talking this. Is it because of the Pakistani man? Is it because of my ex? When you come to a conclusion, let me know. But that's all I have to say.
This one from In Their Shoes says Christianity is not a demographic status, it is a specific way of life. Filling quote unquote Christianity in your form is not the same as being a Christian.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I find this very annoying because how are you going to tell another Christian that they're not Christian? You're no one to judge. Only God is to judge if they're a real good Christian or not. How are you going to stand and sit there? This is what I find in Muslims too. One guy will come, you're not a good Muslim. No, you're not a proper Muslim. The other one comes in and no, this person, he's saying this. He's not a. You
Biblical
can't deny
scriptures
that.
tell us to judge righteously.
You don't know what
Biblical
that person
scriptures
is
tell
doing
us
in
to
their
judge
question was asked to
righteously.
me. Question
You're
was asked to
wrong.
me.
But
Let
you're
me
just
answer.
wrong.
You can answer after when I'm done. Oh my God, talk about being emotional. This guy can't control his emotions.
No one's emotional. I'm far
No,
from
but
it.
why do you keep cutting me in
Because
then?
you're
You can't
wrong.
control. It
No,
doesn't
you're
matter.
wrong.
You will get your chance. Oh my God, nobody's taking your chance of talking and the screen time. Okay, now you make me forget. This is what you do. You interrupt so I forget what I have to say so that I
Brain.
can complete my whole thought, even though question wasn't even on to you. You're such a attention seeker.
No,
This
not
dude
at
wants
all.
all the attention to him. I gotta answer for everything. I gotta
Listen, because it's not an answer
no,
to
no,
everything. You've been
because
wrong about everything.
No, I'm not. You're wrong about everything. I can say the same thing. You're wrong about everything.
Okay, so once again,
You cannot
Christianity
tell
tells us
another
to judge
Christian,
righteously.
you're nobody. You have no authority to tell another Christian that they're not Christian. You're not God,
You're
are
wrong.
you?
You're wrong.
No, you're not God.
Does biblical scriptures tell us that or no?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
So
about
then you're just
biblical
talking from
scriptures.
what you feel. You're speaking nonsense.
According to you, do you think most of people living in these Western countries, are they Christian or they're not Christian?
I think most are not at
I
this
would
point,
say
as far as
probably most are
practice.
not. A lot of them aren't.
So you're saying that these countries are not majority Christian countries?
A lot of them aren't.
We can see that they're
Okay.
not. We've got rainbow flags on churches. We've got divorces rampant. We've got, there's no holding women accountable in our churches, especially evangelical. We've got female pastors. These things are not Christian. You can say it's right or it's wrong or whatever, but definitionally, it's not Christian. So when we look out at that, we're like, yeah, this is not what it is in the book.
Most of these Western countries
Reformation.
have been indoctrinated by feminism. There's
right.
no feminism in Christianity. So
That's right.
Oh, because of it's all because of feminism. Okay, you sound exactly like the imams from Pakistan. Oh my God, the religious flags.
You keep on making the comparison.
Oh my God, the
She can't
women.
get out of it.
Oh my goodness, you
Trauma.
sound exactly like them.
Why are you trauma dumping? Yeah, why are you
But
trauma
it's
dumping on us tonight?
reformation.
A question for
No, I'm
Mahleej.
just telling you the facts. That's
You're
what they
trauma
say.
dumping.
Oh my God, in Pakistan,
this
they're
is-
scared. Oh my God, the LGBTQ is taking over. She's saying the same thing.
Did I say that? No, I
Let's hope
said
so.
that's not definitionally Christian.
This one
Did
from
I say, oh my God, I don't act like that?
But
White-
you would, if it was up to you, you would get rid of the LGBTQ, right? Like
If it was up to me, Christian churches would follow the Bible.
Country, no gays, none of that, no women going to school. They're all gonna have to have babies. That's what you would like,
Well,
right?
and that's the split in the church is Reformation versus traditionalism, and the
This one
Reformation.
from-
No, go James. I'm sorry.
I hate to do it, but just before we go out on a schism on the
By all
topic,
means.
this one from White Chad. Oh, it's going to be good. Mahleej, hypothetical. Would you rather live on a planet where only white men built its civilization, or a planet where all women built civilization?
All women, of course, I'll join them.
This one
Yeah,
from
be dead from nature itself. Mosquitoes, can't build a fire, can't clean your own water,
Yeah,
can't
no.
build shelter good.
What if
It'd be
it's
all
You know,
over the
white
it's so
women?
funny. It's so funny because we will die. But for some reason, us women raise the kids, take care of them, and then they grow up like him to be an adult. I don't know how we're so dumb that we can't do anything else, but we can raise kids. And that's the most important job of the whole planet. They put it on us. At the same time, they tell us we're so dumb that we can't do anything else.
Listen,
And we raise
Mahleej,
kids that are like him.
you're able to raise kids because men built a comfortable society so you can
Right.
raise kids. And
But if
men
women
built
were
all
not
the
raising you
infrastructure.
properly and healthy, you wouldn't be building
No,
nothing. Imagine if you
men
were
build.
weakling man who wasn't raised by a mother who gave you love. You wouldn't be
Can't
building
stop
shit.
that. That has nothing to do with anything. Men build and maintain all of the infrastructure that you see today.
Which
This
men?
is
Which
why
men?
women get to live comfortably with an air conditioning
Which
and lights and comfortable beds and soft pillows. All of these things have been created by men, right?
not
So
all.
the
There's a
reason
lot
why
of things women created
get
as
to
well.
raise their
No.
children because men protect women from
No, you
bad
guys
things
don't
that happen
protect us. You
outside.
guys are the ones that attack us the most. 70%. Again, I'm going to
No.
say
And-
70%.
and we get our rights from the
attack you the
Constitution.
most, so you're not the protectors.
Get your rights
No.
from men.
We
Did you hear
get
that?
our
The
rights
piece of
from the
paper is going to come enforce your
Constitution.
right.
Well, that's the thing. You keep on saying that men are the ones, but it's humans. So if a bunch of women were to come in and dictate that you had to follow their orders at gun, basically threatening you, would you obey
Okay.
them?
No, it would be men that I would appeal to protect me from the women with the guns.
Right.
So
Or what
if
if
we're
they
comparing
separate you?
women, if we're comparing women and men, right? Women cannot enforce their own rights over men because
Sure,
men
that's
have the
not true.
monopoly on force. This is true.
Okay, so let's say a gun is to your head. You're separated from other men. Are you going to follow the women's orders?
You just talking about me specifically on a societal level.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, so they've taken
Individual
over
level.
society and they've been able to separate you guys, and so you're not able to congregate. They're actually able to separate
No,
you
okay.
off.
How can they? So you're making
Weapons.
okay. Listen, you are making an assertion that women can do it. I'm asking you, how would women do it?
So you take the trigger and you put your
Yeah.
fingers over it, and
Yep.
as long as they don't pull back the trigger, the bullet
Yeah.
doesn't go through your
The
head.
bullet does, and there's going to be men that have guns with triggers. How would women even get these guns if men didn't create them?
And we're getting
I'm sorry.
robots. We're gonna
You
have
keep
Elon
on
Musk
saying
robots
men.
very soon.
It's-
What are you talking about?
But it's very
How would
weird.
women
You
get
keep
the
on
guns if men
taking
didn't create
neutral
them?
professions. You act like you need to have a dong in order to build a gun. Like, these are things that humans created, and
No,
then you're saying that
men
men tend
created
to have
guns.
them. Oh, only men? So you're saying if a woman tried to create a gun, they'd be like, oh, it's burning.
The gun wouldn't be here if men didn't invent the gun.
Okay,
So what
you're
are you
saying if
speaking
humans.
about?
You keep on trying to say
No.
men. You keep on
There's
trying
a
to
clear
give the
distinction
dong.
between men and women. You don't know this distinction
Okay,
because you're a man
what
trying to dress
about
like a
men?
woman.
Okay, again, the ad homs, and you've done so many ad homs, they don't add anything. But okay, what about a gun?
That isn't an
Makes it
ad hom.
So, okay, I know this is
You don't know
not
what an ad hom is.
I know it's not an ad hom. I'm just insulting you, even though, no, you kind of were trying to use it as an
I just
argument.
don't
No, wrong.
understand
If
why
you're
these
making an
men-
argument about
Nonetheless,
water and you're drinking
what
water.
Go to the next
what
one.
about a gun
Must
makes
go.
it so a woman can't build it or use it?
It's funny how these men
We must
keep taking credit
go
of the
to
men
the
that
next
actually
one.
worked hard. The only hardest thing he does is probably hook up his mic and sit there and yap all day.
Yeah,
Yet he's gonna say,
David.
"Men created
Okay,
this.
let's
You
go.
didn't create shit.
Yeah.
I'm
You
sending love.
didn't create shit. You guys don't create shit. You have
You're
actually
right.
taken an easy job that a woman should have.
We
You
have
should
to
be
go to
out
the
there
next one.
working, doing the manly work.
You don't
And
even know what I
you
do
are not
for a
the men-
living, but you know
don't
what?
take
You're
credit
right.
of those hardworking men that created stuff and civilization. Because you are a weak man. You sit there, you make your body, and then you just flaunt it, and that's it. That's all the hard work you do, please.
Oh,
This
okay,
one.
Let's
okay.
just leave it to those men.
This
Let's
one from
leave it.
Kyle
All right.
2020 says, same goes to you, Amy. Islam will do what they do to you when they take over. You're anti-natalist. Who will make it? not you.
All right, so number one, I'm not anti-natalist. Number two, the Reformation, we've kind of potty trained Christianity. They are much better in comparison to some of these fundamentalist religions. Their joke is always, well, they'll throw you off the roof. It just says that our book says stone you. Well, let me tell you, it's atheism that is going to stand up to Islam. You're not going to have any of these other theistic religions that are really going to push back. At the end of the day, it is going to be the atheists and the agnostics. It's going to be empiricism and skepticism, which is going to be able to calmly explain to them why Muhammad did not cut the moon.
This one from Even Lord says, Amy showed how totally out of touch because you say the world is overpopulated. They're saying, Amy, like you want mankind to end? What is it? That's what they're asking.
No. And we have a lot of space. So if you were to look at America, we, have lots of empty space that we could continue on filling. We don't have an underpopulation problem. We have a problem where we don't have maybe the highest quality family units that we want. I would say that we should continue to try and push for long-term relationships. We could continue to try and push for marriages that have respect. But can you repeat their question one more time?
They're saying, you think that the world is overpopulated? So you mean like the population should go down?
No, I'm not anti-natalist. I think you should have babies. I think that it's okay to bring children into the world. The world isn't that damaged that we can't make it better. It's that we just want to live in a society in which we are both being fair and equal while also promoting healthy relationships.
This one, do appreciate it. Kyle 2020 says, guns, did you not see Planet of the Apes?
Great movie. My favorite part of that movie, if you see it in a book, it starts off with an astronaut reading Planet of the Apes in book form, and you don't know what type of astronaut he is. And at the end of Planet of the Apes, he throws the book down and says, "This is ridiculous. No one would believe this." He takes his helmet off, and he's an orangutan. And he said, "No one would believe humans would be that smart." My favorite part of it. Okay, continue.
Any last thoughts in terms of drawing together the threads from this debate? Otherwise, we'll wrap up because that's it for the questions. Any last thoughts? Is there anything when you guys were
I do want to say, as spicy as it got, I do want to thank my interlocutor. I do want to thank both of my two debate partners, James and everyone in chat. The way that we get through these tough decisions and dilemmas is by having public discourse and debate.
Yeah, I want to say, Amy, I'll open up the door to have you on my show for, open debate night if you ever want to come on and debate objective morality, since we didn't really get a chance to discuss that, and it seems like you're interested in those type of topics. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we can have some metaphysical debates if you're down for it. Hit me up and we'll set it up.
Well, I really appreciated the discourse. I will second what you said, Amy, that it's so important that we have these discussions, that we flesh out each other's worldviews, because it's necessary. I don't think anybody should be shut up. I think that's where it gets really bad and really dark. So I'm really grateful that all of you were here and that you allowed me to be here to have the discussion.
Thank you. It was our pleasure to have all of you guys. It's been a great debate. Anybody else?
Hey, yeah, James.
I just want to thank everybody.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to thank everyone, even though we got a little heated. No personal grudges from my side if I said something. Please forgive me. I know the Christians are the most forgiving ones. So yeah, it gets heated and stuff, but like everybody said, it's very good. It's the one beautiful thing about these countries is that we can openly speak and have dialogue. And I appreciate that about this country. And we should keep continuing that. So Thank you, everyone.
Hey, James, when's the next DebateCon?
This is not 100% confirmed, but it's almost certainly we're going to do a one-day DebateCon January 24th in Houston, Texas. It's going to be a one day filled with debates. And then we're actually going to probably do one maybe even in March and May where they're just really coming together well. So we do plan on doing a lot more. And in fact, from DebateCon 6, Rachel Wilson is in the live chat. Says, hi, far from Eden and no Fugazi. You guys know Rachel? That's right. I've heard you both
Yeah.
quote her. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little starstruck.
Yeah, I quoted you today, Rachel.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. Burnham 603 as well says Euthyphro for the win. And we're going to wrap up with that. Do want to say, folks, check out our guests in the description box. We appreciate them. They're the stars of the show. They're what make this fun. So do check out their links. Even if you disagree with them, there's a lot of value of hearing it straight from their mouth rather than what people say the other side says. So with that, we're going to wrap up on Let Our Speakers Go, but I'll be back in about 18 seconds to let you know about upcoming debates, including our upcoming DebateCon 7 in Texas. So stick around, folks. Amazing. My dear friends, I want to say thanks so much for being here. Very exciting stuff, always fun. And I'm going to load up my little camera feed here so you can see me, and then we'll be off to the races. In particular, Zoom is taking a lot longer than usual, so just bear with me as it took like 30 seconds when I loaded it up before the debate, and it's currently loading up. So I will let you know, it's so close where join our insiders list. It's in the top of the description box and it's pinned at the top of the chat. We will send out, when we do announce the exact location and the exact debates and the exact time for DebateCon 7, that will be sent out along with a promo code for tickets for DebateCon 7. It's going to be in Texas. It's probably going to be in Houston, but it's not for sure yet. So it might be, we were looking at Austin, Texas. We were even looking at San Antonio. Early. It's not going to be San Antonio, I'll tell you that. We think San Antonio is great, but we've narrowed it down to 2 venues that are especially well suited for what we're looking for. And those are either in Austin or Houston. So I just pinned that at the top of the chat. I put it in the chat again. Join that insiders list. We'll send you a promo code for a discount on tickets if you're able to make it out. And thank you for coming by, though. I've got a lot of people to say hello and thank you to, in terms of thank you for being members. John Ruck, appreciate you being a member, as well as Adir Fastier 1982 says, amazing. You're right about that. And let's see. The Crazy 987, thanks for being a member. Rachel Wilson, thanks for being a member as well. And thank you for being a member. 2 seconds. Adir Fastier, Ben Nowak, thank you as well. We are excited, though. The in-person debates are doing so well that we will still be doing remote debates. We probably won't do there will be periods like the last month where we won't have as many. So like after DebateCon 6, it was a little bit quieter. I was trying to travel, do a little bit of that, and just kind of recharging because the conferences do take a lot of time and energy, but we're finding that they're awesome. They're a fun time. People enjoy them. So we want to keep doing them. And we will probably, it's kind of going to be kind of wavy where, especially leading up to the conferences, we'll do way more remote debates like this one, as we'll be promoting DebateCon. And then DebateCon itself will happen. It'll be a huge, massive party like it was last time. And then there'll probably be a little bit of slowdown where I'll just be recharging and stuff like that. But we're just finding hey, this rhythm works well. And we also enjoy it because it's just fun to meet your favorite debaters. It's fun to hang out in person and enjoy people. And we're trying to find some variety in terms of the different debaters that we have. So this one that is going to be in Houston, we're going to have some new debaters. David Wood is likely going to be one of those. A longtime friend of Modern Day Debate, and me personally, David's helped immensely. He has bailed me out in so many different ways with advice, and just he's been a great guy. So that's been awesome. And we are excited, though. We probably will do something. It may not be a full-fledged debate con, because I think debate con, we want it to be at least a one-day conference. Like, it's not really a conference if it's like a half day. I don't want to call that a debate con. We want to have it be at least a full day, and ideally two, but not always. It depends on the circumstances. March, we were like figuring out what this will look like. We might have one at Queen's University in Canada. It'll be an exciting one, because we've never done an in-person debate internationally yet. So that'll be a first. We're very excited, as we have a contact there who's very motivated to make that happen. And then we're also excited, though, that in early May, this would be theoretically DebateCon 8, and it should be just ginormous. This is going to be in the Chicago area. It's going to be big. We're very excited about that. We were always making them big, but I got to tell you, for DebateCon 8, we're like, yeah, we've got a university that wants to host it, and the contract is in the mail. So I'm expecting it to arrive any minute, and I know that I've talked to them, and they're like, yep, we're all on board, and it's going to be awesome. So that's cool. But thanks for your kind feedback. Daniel J. 8876 says, DebateCon 6 was great, not going to lie. I couldn't agree more. Andrew Wilson, Rachel Wilson, everybody there did a fantastic job. Those debates were so fun, and they're free for the public now. So if you somehow have been living in a cave on Mars with your fingers in your ears, and you haven't seen the debates from DebateCon 6 that just happened in Nashville, Tennessee, what are you waiting for? They're public here on the channel, Modern Day Debate. Go watch them. If you haven't, you're going to love them. They're great. And so, yes, everybody did a fantastic job. In addition to Andrew and Rachel, Jake from Rattlesnake TV, as well as Made by Jim Bob, Inspiring Philosophy Mike Jones, Apostate Prophet, Eric of Planet Peterson. It was just a fantastic conference, and all credit to the debaters. They are what make Modern Day Debate in terms of our remote debates, and also they are what make DebateCon what it is they make it the show. So we are grateful for them, and we're excited about the future. So with that, I'm going to get some rest. I actually just had COVID. Did you know that? And the reason I know is because I lost about like 5 days ago, I couldn't taste anything at all. It's amazing how a good meal is so satisfying, and when you can't taste, it really does take some of the satisfaction out of your quality. Your quality of life really does. It wasn't the worst. I'm okay. But I'm so glad I can taste again. So my taste is back. My, what's the word I'm looking for? My other symptoms are mostly gone. I have a little bit of congestion yet in my nose. I have a little bit of a cough. I do have brain fog. That's the most challenging thing. So like words don't come as fast. It's hard for me to put together a thread of words as quick as usual. So I'm a little bit slower. I'm a little bit fatigued, but nonetheless, we are excited. DebateCon 7 is shaping up very well. In fact, we're kind of ahead of schedule because we were originally thinking about doing it in February. Now it looks like it's going to be January 24th. That's not in stone yet, but it's highly likely. So that's exciting. And John Rock says, workout gets rid of brain fog. Yes, I agree. I'm going to, last time I found though, when I had COVID in 2022, I probably shouldn't even say that word. But when I had the Rona in 2022, I found that if I went back to working out too fast, because I love to pump iron, I love to get in there and get the weights and lift the biceps but I found if I do it too fast, it was like slowing me down from recovering. So I agree that like light exercise, this time I'm planning on doing like walks, because I'm still in that point where I'm kind of I get fatigued easily. Like this morning, I think it was that I made breakfast and I cleaned my room a bit, and I was like, oh, I'm tired. But yes, we are excited though. And then let's see. Thank you, RSTYKNFE, for your kind words. Thanks for your support. Amy Newman in the live chat says, smash that like and subscribe button. Thanks, Amy. We do appreciate that. And thanks for coming on tonight. And yes, do hit that like button on the way out if you haven't yet. And then I'm going to show the results for the poll right now before we wrap up. And want to say thank you so much. The poll complete, 485 votes. And with that, I want to say thanks so much for your support. And I agree, workout is good for recovery in the right amounts. You're right. Thank you for all your guys' support. And John Ruck, thanks for your kind words. Says share the stream. Thank you. If you have a friend who enjoys these debates, then do share this debate with them. We are excited about Modern Day Debate. We are striving to provide a fully neutral platform for debates so that everybody has their chance to make their case on a level playing field, because we believe YouTube deserves a better class of debate channel, and we're going to give it to them. So thank you guys for your support. Thank you for powering this movement. Modern Day Debate is like a locomotive barreling down the tracks, and no matter what obstacles get in our way, we're just going to keep breaking through and crushing them. Thank you for all your support. I'll see you at the next debate. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable. Take care, everybody. We'll see you at the next one.